that strikes me sometimes. I'm like, fuck, I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
You know, and there's times that it comes and it puts a smile on my face, and I'm like, fuck, I made it. To me, like, I'm an immigrant. You know, I came here illegally, and I was able to figure my shit out thanks to my dad. And I'm living the American dream, but at the same time, it's like, it's daunting and it's terrifying, and you know, that puts me in places where it forces me to just become better.
Welcome to a brand new episode of what I am told is the favorite Miami chef-driven podcast of me.
Bang, 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 bang. I don't know if by actual that's a new one. I like that. I don't know if actually by paperwork that I signed if we're allowed to talk about it, but that's
Never
fine.
mind, we'll bleep that out.
Nah, it's fine. It's totally
No,
cool.
it's getting
I
bleeped.
love breaking the law.
Oh, well, okay, fine.
This is good.
But
Starting off on the right foot.
Okay, so today this is a special occasion here. This is the very first time that we have a repeat guest.
Is it?
I believe. Can you name the other one?
I don't know. I don't really like a lot of people, so the fact that Pablo's only been on here twice, I'm shocked.
Well, there you go. So it was almost 2 years ago.
Actually, 3 times.
It was almost... Well, because we did the COVID thing over the phone.
No, but if you only talk to Nick, it doesn't count.
That's true. That's fair. That's fair. My name's not on the sandwich.
I was driving and doing deliveries that day.
So we're here with Pablo Zitzmann. The last time that you were here, Pablo...
And the crowd goes wild.
Listen to how wild they're going.
I'm rested. I just took a nap. I'm ready.
So I'll let you take it away here because you know the things. You don't need me to help you through this.
By the way, I'm doing this one because I want a mug.
You want a mug?
Oh, there's no.
Yeah,
mug.
you got to
I can't
put this
help
in your mug, huh? There it is.
Mug it. There you go.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Pancon Podcast featuring me and someone that I'm very excited to talk to, which is Pablo Zitzmann, one of my very good friends, and somebody that. What has it been? Almost 2 years since you were on this thing?
He said July.
Well, the podcast turns 2 years old in June, but you were like guest number 2.
Fuck.
He's like, fuck, I'm old.
It feels like 10 years.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for actually doing this because your restaurant, your new restaurant that you talked about 2 years ago on this podcast
That is correct.
is now a living, breathing thing.
Yeah.
And it is 3 weeks old now.
Yeah.
3 weeks old. So the fact that you made time to spend with me and Nick and Petey is crazy, and I'm shocked. So thank you.
No, man. We got a good team in the restaurant, so I'm comfortable.
That's a strange and great place to be.
Yeah. You know, it's been just... You see? Orders are coming in now.
That's good.
They're doing their job. Yeah, no, man. They're holding it down over there. We were down a dishwasher today. But all good. All good, man.
So, let's give people context because we've talked a fuck ton, you and I privately as friends.
Uh-huh.
Tell people what's going on. Tell people I think I'd like for people to know a little bit about the first 3 weeks, the first day of opening a restaurant. Like, I know, I'll give people a little bit of background about what I know, which is basically you found a good deal to open up a restaurant. You did a lot of the building yourself, which a lot of restaurateurs do. And you were, somewhat struggling to get open because of things that were out of your control.
Yeah, for sure.
And you guys opened 3 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
I'd like to run through the first day.
Fuck. I don't know. I can't remember the first day. Let's talk about the day before, because the thing is that the first day, like, all that nervousness went away and all the butterflies went away once the restaurant was open, and just like we had people like you and Aquino and all the good friends that went that day. Like, everything just went away. But the day before, I had a panic attack I was driving and I was doing my 35th run to Restaurant Depot. And I was driving and I just like chain smoking and just like drinking a lot of coffee. And I started crying, like on the car, just like nervous. Like, I think that I had built so much anxiety and so much stress for the past 2 years that the day before I knew that it was going to be real. And it just like took me by surprise, like just came in a wave, just all at once.
Yeah.
And I remember that I had to park in Hometown Barbecue for a second and just like started crying. And I called my wife and I was just like a wreck. And she calmed me down and then I just finished doing my things. Went to a restaurant and just like started prepping. And yeah, man, the next day we opened. I really didn't know what was going to happen. We have a solid team. We have a great group of people around us. And, I thought that I was comfortable with the food that we were going to be serving. I thought that I was comfortable with the things that, we said that we were going to do. And then after the first day, everything just like basically got taken out and just like we did a new menu the following day and we just changed the whole structure of how we thought that the restaurant was going to be running, everything positive. But it was just like a really roller coaster of feelings.
Yeah, it's emotional. I'd like to go back to, I think it was probably like 6 weeks before you guys opened. Uh-huh. And we were sitting in your dining room and we were talking.
Yeah,
we were just talking about restaurants and life and things and stuff. And, like me with you, I felt equally emotionally attached.
Yeah.
I mean, you're my friend.
Yeah.
And, like, I want nothing but incredible success for you. And me just knowing that I went through it just 5 years ago, like, I was emotional.
Yeah.
Like I know how much emotion that day carries. Like I remember the day before Area had opened, mm-hmm. I slept downstairs the day before it opened. And I was here till 3 a.m. and like I had no idea about so many things the day that we opened. And I'm like setting up the dining room at like 3:30 in the morning by myself. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was just figuring it out. And I'm like, I've learned a lot in the first 3 years, but I remember and I felt a lot of that just 6 weeks before you opened.
Yeah.
It was a connection, like obviously we get along in several ways, personally, professionally, our thought processes, whatever. But like, I can understand that feeling so much.
Yeah, and it's a feeling that it's really hard to put into words. And I think that's why, unconsciously, I called you that day for us to kind of like talk and needed advice from you. And, I was going through, a really hard time in the opening process of the restaurant. That it was just basically, me and my business partners, my business partner, we decided just not to do things together, and I had to do everything by my own. And finishing a restaurant that it was half remodeled, and just teaching myself how to do all those things. So to me, the biggest thing that I learned from those weeks, it was I needed to surround myself with people that I knew that they were going to add a lot of value to the restaurant, a lot of value to the company itself. And then I started reaching out to the people that I thought that they could help me out. And I mean, you were one of them. And then some of the people that are working with us in the restaurant now, it was just a phone call away. Hey, I have an opening. Do you want to come and work with me? They were like, yeah. I mean, 95% of the staff that we have today at Zitz Sum, it's the staff that we had at No Name Chinese. From the dishwasher to the general manager to the guy in the bar to the hostess to the servers. I mean, we added 3 more people to the staff from like people that we haven't worked with before, but the rest of the staff is just people that worked with me before, So in a way, it was like plugging the machine back again, mm-hmm. But at the same time, I didn't want that machine to be the same machine that we had before.
Right.
And one of the biggest challenges that I have still to this day is I don't want to sing the same old songs. I don't want to be the no-name Chinese. And we have a lot of people that come to the restaurant and they're like, oh, but you had the buns, or you had the kung pao chicken. Why don't you put this on the menu? Why don't you put that on the menu? I'm not going to do it.
I think that's great.
You know, and I tell them, well, we're here now and we're different. So in a way, Niall,
can you make me a Negroni? Pre-batch a few. Can you get him? You want a Negroni?
yeah, fuck yeah.
2 Negronis. Love you, Niall. You're the best. You look good in that apron that we just bought.
And then I remember now that we're digging a little bit into it, when I was doing my pre-shift before the day one, you know, I told everyone this is the day that No Name Chinese goes to sleep forever. You know, like,
amen.
And we're basically just turning a new page, and we're just doing Zitz Sum, and we want to be the restaurant that we want to be, and that's gonna start happening. You know, we need to stop living in the past, and that's what we're doing.
Just from a consumer standpoint,
Yeah.
And you know, like I was there day one.
Oh, so many things have changed since that
Well,
day.
the one thing I'd like to say is that I loved the food that I ate.
Thank
and
you.
The space that I was in and all that stuff, and it was vastly different than No Name.
Yeah,
It was.
but in what way? Like, I know, but
no, I know. You know, just aesthetically the space,
Yeah.
which I liked a lot,
Mhm.
and I loved, you know, and I obviously I take in a lot when I go to a restaurant, and I understand so many things of
Yeah.
like what I see, and
That's super important. The music, the lights.
I
the
loved
decoration.
all of that. I loved everything. The food itself was very different,
Mhm.
and I enjoyed it. You know, and I enjoyed No Name, but I enjoyed the food more.
Yeah.
I felt like it was very different, and I enjoyed that. And for me, this was more the Pablo I know restaurant
Mhm.
than what I had previously.
Yeah, because the thing is that No Name at the end of the day was a version of myself that somebody wanted me to be,
Exactly.
you know? And the thing is that I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want, right? And this is like this living, breathing thing that, you know, I thought that it was me, but at the end of the day it was not me. So when I was left without that, then I had nothing, because I never knew exactly the things that I wanted to do. And it took a lot of time, and still to this day, like, I'm still not comfortable. I don't want to say comfortable, but I'm still not 100% where I want to be. And I don't think you will ever be, but
You will never be.
one of the things that I'm learning now how to do is not making everything about myself. You know,
Yeah.
one of the main reasons why I'm here today, for the first time, I tell the guys, like, you know what you're doing, I trust you, whatever you're going to do, whatever decision you're going to be taking, I know that you're going to be taking the decisions based on everything that I have told you. And having a group of people like, you know, around me and in the restaurant where we have singularity of vision and everyone goes towards the same goal. Sometimes that allows that allows the restaurant also to grow, you know. And that has been one of the things that from the beginning I've been trying to tell, you know, Jessica, our manager, and Guido, the chef, is that I want to make sure that even though that I want everything the way that I want to, I don't want the restaurant to revolve around myself, which is really funny because the name of the restaurant is my nickname.
Yeah, but
you know,
I mean, good food and a good operation is all about collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, you said something that I think strikes so importantly now, which is 95% of your staff was from previous.
Yeah.
And that just proves who you are. Andrew coming in with the clutch.
Tell me that you have a lighter.
Oh, not prepared for service, chef. No, it's this guy.
Can I
Not
can I
prepared
bother
for
you for a
service.
lighter?
No bother at all.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah? All right. It just proves who you are as a person.
Cheers, bud.
And it proves... Oh, that's good. It
That
proves
is
you are
delicious.
who you are as a boss and as a human. as we go through this huge, now it's like a national media story, and it should have always been a story, which is like this labor shortage or whatever people want to talk about.
Fuck.
It's hard, but it's always been hard. And I think the fact that people came back to work for you, no matter where they were before, it shows how you are as a human and as a boss.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I think that, I think compassion is the number one thing.
Yeah.
And learning how to coach people and how to evolve them and how to make them into
nurturing
the best version that they can be. Because at the end of the day, they're working for you, so you want them to be their best version. So you, at the end of the day, the end product reflects you, reflects them. But I think that giving them a space where they're comfortable, where they're proud of working at, where they feel that they can be heard, when they feel that sometimes their opinions or their concerns are listened and taken into consideration, I think it's important, right? But letting them grow and letting people grow at the end of the day, it's my own growth.
Yeah.
And when I started writing down the menus, pretty sure that you do the same. I did like 30 versions of the menu before I even opened the doors of the restaurant. And day 2, I changed 95% of all the things. One of the things that I learned, it was letting them collaborate between them and letting them figuring out a lot of shit. So when they're putting a plate in the window or when they're serving something, there is this connection that it's not like I'm serving somebody else's food, but I'm serving my input and I'm serving my ideas. And the reason why this garnish looks so beautiful is not because the chef came up with it. It's because I actually said something and made something, It
makes them vested in the thing. And something I'm very specific about, area specific, is, when I tell people that they're joining the team, I tell them, Ariat is a home of collaboration. It's not just my food. It is our food collectively.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to be successful, because people need to feel invested when they're putting so much effort into a thing.
Absolutely.
That it's, times are different. Times are different. Humans are different, and food is very different. So getting them to believe isn't just in believing in you, it's believing in themselves that they can do more.
Yeah.
And it's like giving them that opportunity to do more. I truly believe that management in general is a world that we are working with people. A lot of times you got to get people to do a thing that they're not super happy about doing, but at the end of the day, that's the hard part about being a boss.
Yeah.
But in the in-between, in the growth, in the food, in the evolution, it's all about getting everyone collectively on the same page. And it's like, a guy that's worked for me for a long time, Leonard, he was part of the brunch cartel is what I call them, the brunch team here. And it's like, we had a conversation just about our pancake, and our pancake is a pain in the ass to make and the whole thing. And he was like, this was probably like a month and a half ago, and he was like, Chef, if we do it this way, it'll probably be easier and it'll come out the same way. It's going to be as good.
Pancakes are fucking delicious.
And you know what? He was right. He made a better pancake than I did that day. And I was like, you're right, man. Let's run with it.
A lot of people will take that, and, a lot of chefs would say no to those ideas. And people that I worked for, no, that's not the way that I told you, because there's a lot of insecurities, right?
Yeah.
But I think that, you just nailed it in the head. I think that just having them collaborate and having them just coming up with really cool shit, that it's going to make your product better and their product better and your life easier and their life easier. I think it's paramount for me. But to me, making them believe the idea and just not drinking the Kool-Aid, but just understanding where your head is at and what you want, and them executing that, it's amazing.
I don't think it's about drinking the Kool-Aid. It's about we're all making the Kool-Aid together.
Hell yeah.
We're all making this Kool-Aid.
One of the things that, for me, one of the most stressful parts of opening the restaurant was there was a moment maybe 3 weeks before we opened the restaurant that I didn't think that I was going to be able to open the restaurant because I was running out of money. And that's when I got to hire my general manager and the guy that's running the kitchen and kind of like putting the team together. So inside of me, I had this anxiousness and I had this thing that I was like, fuck, I don't know if I'm going to be able to employ these guys. But I have to find that force within me to make them believe something that I don't know if it's going to be tangible 3 weeks from now. And that to me was the hardest thing to make happen, you know? Like not being able to, like waking up at 3, 4, 5 a.m. in the morning 5 times, just thinking about that and thinking about them. Like my general manager, she's pregnant, you know? It's like, she's with me now. There's more responsibilities. There's more things that I have to take care of. I don't know if I'm going to be able to open.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, and you find ways, you know, and you kind of like, you put that fear. I was watching this movie. I don't remember which movie it was, but the guy was telling the guy in the movie, like, when you feel fear, you're allowed to feel fear for 5 seconds. Close your eyes, feel the fear for 5 seconds, and then after that, you're not allowed to be fearful anymore. You have to suck it up and just fucking do it. And that's what I did.
That's what you have to do in this game. And, you know, it's interesting you mentioned that because I was talking to a friend of mine today that he's known me for, I don't know, 6 years or so, like right around when we opened Ariette. And one of the biggest weights you carry as the boss is not just like the tangible things of like a menu or equipment repairs or paying the bills or whatever, is the people that work for you and how much you care about not only their success but their well-being.
Correct.
Because now these people are with you and they're with you for good or for bad, and you care about them all.
Every decision that you take is going to affect them.
Every single one. And it's a daunting place to be.
Yep.
And it's the place we choose to be. So, like, when I tell people these statements and stories, like, I'm not asking for sympathy. What I'm telling them is there's a lot more to running a restaurant than just saying we're putting food on a menu or we're providing service or we're doing cocktails. We're coaching people to get better. We're helping them provide a livelihood for themselves. And in that process, we're trying to grow a company or a restaurant to be something else every day.
And at the same time, also having a family. You know? And trying to make sure that every single decision that you take, you have to like factor in and consider every single person that it's involved with you, directly and indirectly. You know, especially, you know, like every move that I make now, I have to think about Natalia and Emma and Nicholas and, you know, the other 16 people that are depending on my decisions. So it's been great, and I think that, you know, to me, trying to find that balance between being the chef that I want to be and being the leader that I want to be, but also understanding that now I am a business owner, and that's something that like that strikes me sometimes. I'm like, fuck, I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
You know, and there's times that it comes and it puts a smile on my face, and I'm like, fuck, I made it. To me, like, I'm an immigrant. You know, I came here illegally, and I was able to figure my shit out thanks to my dad. And I'm living the American dream, but at the same time, it's like, it's daunting and it's terrifying, and you know, that puts me in places where it forces me to just become better.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
part of the beauty of being either an immigrant or, you know, child of immigrants, because that's what I am, is that here we're afforded the opportunity to do more. You know, you're afforded the opportunity to create your own business, create your own dream, and how you choose to do that and how you choose to live that is totally up to you.
Yeah.
And, you know, for everyone it's different, right? Like, I mean, you're quote unquote living the American dream, and you made that happen. You made that happen.
Yeah.
You know, you worked for that to happen, and it's incredible to see. And for me, like, as your friend, super proud to call you my friend. But to see that the evolution, and again for me, because we intimately know each other for the last 2 years, to see this whole thing kind of pan out, I was very proud as your friend to be there day one.
Thanks, man. You know, you were the first person to eat at Non-Name Chinese the day that we were closing, and you were the first person to dine at Zitz Sum the first day that we opened. So it was just like, it was.
I told you I would be.
Yeah, I know. It was nerve-wracking though, like, because the thing is that, you know, there's a part of me that also wants to make sure that you're understanding where I'm coming from with a lot of things, because I respect your input a lot. And to me, like, this process of opening Zitz Sum and all the times that that we spent together and all the conversations that we had and all that shit, it helped me a lot to get through, you know, those uncertain times. But, you know, even though that it's been 3 weeks since we opened the restaurant, in a way, I'm seeing a light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to a lot of those things that we spoke about.
Of course.
And that only happens because we have a team in the restaurant that gets shit done, and they're understanding everything. But more importantly, I have somebody at home that understands that I have to do what I have to do, and she's taking care of the kids, and she's making sure that, you know, I have enough time for me to do the things that I have to do.
Right.
Which is fucking crazy because, you know, it's insane to see. Like, I mean, I was talking to Nick before we started the podcast. It's like, before we closed the restaurant, I never saw my kids because I'm a workaholic and I work 7 days a week, and I I have all my priorities like completely twisted sometimes.
I totally get you.
You know, and to me, it's more important. And I mean, it's really bad to say this, but sometimes for me, it's more important to make sure that my inventories are right, and my walk-in cooler is clean, and my deli containers are labeled, and everything's consolidated, but my taxes are not done, or the grocery for my house is not done, or I haven't done my laundry, shit like that, you know. But you know, when we closed the restaurant, I had this time in between, like, closing the restaurant and working somewhere else with somebody else. That was actually the first time in my life that, in my adult life, being a married person with kids, that I was at home. So I had to learn how to be a parent. You know, because I had the time when I had a day off. It was just like we were going out and we were having dinner here and we were doing a lot of things, but I was not involved due to my workaholism. I was never involved in the things that had to do with my kids and my wife. You know, and then not because I didn't want it to, but it was just because the nature of the business was just eating me alive. And then I was basically just like smacked in the face with this reality that it's like, yo, now you're not working, now you're home, so there's a lot of shit that you have to take care of, and this is the kind of shit that I have to deal with every day when you're not here. So in a way, I had to learn really fast, and I had this reality check that it was this is actually what it feels like to be a parent that is not working in the restaurant industry, and this is actually the reality of just a regular husband that has a 9-to-5 job, and these are all the things that you have to do, you know. And though it was really cool because I got a lot of time to spend with my kids, it was really, really, really hard. Because I was not used to the crying, I was not used to the yelling, I was not used to the tantrums, I was not used to like waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning because the baby was crying. I was just like, you know, if I had a long day, if I worked 18 hours a day, my wife was kind enough to say, don't worry about it, the baby's crying, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna take care of the baby.
Right.
You know. And then we went from that to working on another project that, because of COVID, it didn't happen, and some other things. And then we went from doing that to creating Zitz Sum because I got laid off. And then we went from just not doing anything to rolling 600 dumplings a day. inside of our apartment, right, with 2 kids, and trying to figure out the homeschooling thing and the e-learning thing, and Nico has ADD, and like all this shit. So trying to be a parent, doing all that shit from home, and also trying to run a business or try to do something with my life so I could pay the bills. It was definitely like something that made everything happen now for what we're doing.
What? Talking about the last 18 months, I guess, of our life.
Yeah.
I guess it's 18 months. I'm not totally sure, but I feel like the things that people have gone through in the last 18 months, 14 months, however long it's been, has shaped a lot of what society is going to be like for the next 20 years.
In what sense?
Life changed so much because you experience so many different things, because people are fearful of so many different things. And I think that's why, from a labor standpoint, life has changed so much, because the last 14 months have been unforgiving for everybody.
Yeah.
So I think that their relationship with a job has changed, and how people view that job has changed.
Does that have changed for you though?
For me?
Yeah.
I mean, no, because I think yes and no. I think yes in the aspect of I became, me personally, more fearful of losing the things I worked for. In that process, we worked to get this one restaurant to a place, and then it was finally doing a thing, and then all of a sudden it was stripped for me yet again.
Yeah, to me, for example, what I'm seeing is the completely different side of that. Mm-hmm. Like, that taught me how to be fearless.
Yeah, I mean...
which, it's 2 really good things.
Right.
Because it taught me how to, find solutions and just, make shit happen.
Which equally it did for me, but those finding the pivots and the solutions were to keep the thing afloat.
Chuck's kept my my groceries.
So many, and we turned Chugg's into a fucking grocery store and a meal planning place, and then we turned it into an ice cream shop that now we're going to open an ice cream shop because of that. It made me fearful because you work for a decade for a thing and you have a thing, and then it's like, well, now the thing is in danger again, and now that the thing is in danger again, where do you go from here? And it made me work harder. I've worked relentlessly for a year. I think probably harder than I ever have because of that fear. Because fear is a good motivator.
Hell yeah.
People who say that, you shouldn't fear anything. You got to fear things. But it's how you react to that fear that separates you from other people. If you cower and you say, I've lost and I've been beaten, that's one thing. But if you look at...
It's not the problem is your attitude towards the problem. Jack Sparrow.
We just quoted Pirates of the Caribbean for the first time ever, and that is a Poncom Podcast first, and I am super proud of that.
What's up?
Nick,
so that's the famous...
Turn your ball tickler on, please.
That's the famous ball tickler.
Yeah, it's the famous ball tickler. To the point that you were making, though, about, Mike, about how it changes the way that people see their jobs and all that, I wonder, and Pablo, maybe you have things to say about this too, that's what you're describing is your reaction to those circumstances. Have you given much thought to how is this going to change the way that I view things a year from now? Do you see yourself making decisions differently if the pandemic never happens?
Maybe.
Maybe you go with this concept.
I think it doubles down on the ideology I always had, which was what's happening here?
Special guest over here?
Oh, I guess they're having an event back here, and they're talking about it. That's cool. I'll take all your money.
It's
events at ariethospitality.com. Yeah. Pre-pandemic, I believed in a different style of hiring and coaching and nurturing talent and so on and so forth, and it just made me double down on that even more. For me personally, and I think larger companies probably operate very differently because it's more of a structured, archaic ideology, and also since we're not big, I have that opportunity to create a relationship with employees, like sit down with them, understand their needs and their wants and things, and help them try to get there, as opposed to larger companies that, you know, you're just a number.
How much does that change your modus operandi, the way that you do things, when you have those one-on-ones with your employees? Because we all, I mean, like we small operators, we at least I do once a week. I try to, you know, have a one-on-one with every employee. But now that the pandemic happened and people's needs and, you know, life outlook has changed, how much does the one-on-ones change the way that you do things?
I don't think that it changes much. I really do feel like it's something that I've always tried to make a point, you know? And I think with our growth, I may not do a one-on-one sit-down all the time, but a check-in with people like, hey, how are you? How are you feeling? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to grow to? Do you want to grow? Are you happy where you're at? Are you like, how can I help you get to a place that you want to get to? That's always something that I think I've prided myself on doing. I've said my door is always open to everyone, and I actually mean that. As opposed to other people that could say that and it's actually not a thing.
Yeah.
You know, I want people to grow because not only do I spend time with people, like training them and getting them to a place.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that we employ, I believe in their growth. I believe that they can be a bigger part of something different. And, you know, I'm not just putting you to fit in. I want you to put you in a position to succeed and to be happy.
Yeah.
And that really, like, with their succeeding and their happiness makes the overall thing better.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the most important thing. That's the number one thing, sure.
So, after your first week, we spoke after your first week through text on a Sunday, I believe.
I can't remember the last 2 weeks of my life.
How did I feel that and I understand that very much.
Yeah.
How did you feel after the first week?
You know, I've been asking myself that question because I want to go back like
I think listen
2 weeks and
let me tell you, and I'm going to tell you, and I don't do this at all, and I don't do it enough. I mean, it's early. 3 weeks is early, and a month is early. 3 months is early. 6 months is early. But sometimes to sit and reflect, and I don't do it ever, so I'm the pot calling the kettle black, to be honest. Sit back and reflect on what you've achieved thus far is important.
Yeah, I mean, we have 26 seats inside of the restaurant, and we have about 18 outside right now with the limitations. Because the thing is that I painted the chairs and I rebuilt the.
I saw, and they actually look great. Well, you're a hell of a carpenter. I don't know if you knew that.
I redid the chairs, and my wife was just doing the cushions. And things just got so crazy that I haven't been able to get to all the chairs and all the tables that we have. But it worked out for me because the staff that we have is so small right now that the more tables that I have, the more staff I'm going to need. We're going to be spread out too thin, right? So, right? So basically we are, I don't know if I'm doing my math right, but let's say that we're a 43, 44 seat restaurant right now. Every day we're doing minimum of 80 covers.
It's incredible.
And we just broke our 120 cover ceiling, roof, whatever it is, over the weekend.
Amazing. Congratulations.
So I haven't had a lot of time to actually kind of sit down and not smell the roses, but reassess. But
don't smell roses.
Yeah,
roses
no,
are not good roses.
Right?
They're not good.
But
I
just do that stuff like in small increments every day. I sit down with the guys, with Guido in the kitchen and Jessica in the front. We just basically kind of like reassess and fix things every day. We spend at least an hour and a half every day after service just talking about the things that we like, the things that we don't like, the things that they don't like, the things that I don't like. But after 3 weeks, we already got regulars.
Those
we
are
already
the most
got
important
like people that have come 6-7 times already.
Love that.
We're building a wine list that it's really comfortable because I mean, at the beginning I wanted to do natural wine and all this shit, things that I like, not too funky, not too crazy, but just things that kind of like fitted the concept a little bit. But then the thing is that also the neighborhood determines the kind of stuff that you have, and I need to be open about that, right?
What a smart restaurateur. I love that.
So
rare.
I started seeing trends, and I started seeing my product, my PMix, my sales, and the reports and all that stuff, and I realized that though the natural wine thing it's moving, I'm in Gables, and we needed something a little bit more
old world,
approachable, not in the cost side of things, but more approachable in the menu. In the size of the menu for people that were going to the restaurant. So we decided to change our wine list without staying too far away from the principles that we had, but being a little bit more smart in the way that we were picking things. And it has helped.
Come on, man. You're fine.
And we have since we made that decision, we had pretty much doubled our wine sales.
I can only say that I'm not a natty wine guy, so I'm happy to hear it.
There's a lot of natty wine things that are really tasty. Like I'm working with this guy. He's from Chile, and my wife is from Chile. So, and we have an Asian restaurant, but we have a really strong Chilean wine list situation going. And that's part of the story. And the guy, I really like this guy, and he's got really good wines. And his name is Alejandro from Vinos del Rey.
Oh yeah, I know Alejandro.
He's awesome, dude.
He's great.
He's a great guy. So we taste, and every single thing that I taste with him, all right, it's just delicious. It's tasty. So the restaurant's personality is kind of evolving, and the food is changing a bit too. We changed the menu, some of the menu items a little bit too often sometimes. More than what my cooks and my front of the house people want. But we already have the things that people like, and the things that we shouldn't be touching right now, because those are the kind of things that grab people's attention, and they're like, hey, here's your wonton and brodo, or here's your cabbage, or here's your cucumber salad, but let me show you the new thing that we're doing now, and let me show you the new dish that we have going on, and people actually like that, So after 3 weeks, there has been a lot of little changes. First payroll was a nightmare.
Oh man, such a nightmare.
Didn't sleep for 2 days, but we knocked it out of the park. It was fucking awesome. And now it's the time for me that after three weeks, things are starting to fall into place. And now it's the time for me to start really digging inside of me and inside of the restaurant to try to push us to do better, do more numbers, open for lunch, eventually brunch. The breakfast situation that we have going on because of the nature of the business that we have. We're inside of a building where there's a lot of offices upstairs. Mm. So part of the things that I worked out with my landlord is I need to do breakfast. So that's the elephant in the room. That's the thing that has been the biggest struggle for me.
Yeah, I mean, because it's interesting, the landlord aspect of it, because they wanted the thing open, not necessarily the way that you wanted it open.
Yeah.
And that's very normal.
Yeah.
That's not an outlier. They want an amenity for their building. You want your restaurant.
Correct, but the thing is that now they're seeing...
Yeah,
they were not expecting us to...
I know.
...to be doing what we're doing.
Oh, fuck
so...
Yeah. No, I know.
There is a conversation that we're going to have soon when it comes to okay, so this is what I think that the next 10 years are going to look like.
Oh, man. I want to be a fly on the wall for that.
Right, and kind of because I'm in, and I'll be lying to you guys, and I'll be lying to myself if I would say that, fuck, I never thought in my life that on a Thursday I will be doing 110 covers, or I'd be just selling out food left and right in a small restaurant inside of a building where there's no sign, there's no parking, everything's under construction, and we're filling up the place. So there's a conversation that needs to be had, but to me, working from 8 a.m. in the morning until 1 a.m. in the morning every day, and being the prep guy, because I am the prep guy. I have no prep team. I chose to sacrifice the sous chef so I could pay my accountant.
You will. I mean, that's actually a smart sacrifice.
You know, like from the get-go, I wanted to make sure that, the numbers were straight and everything was good. So I don't have to be worrying about that. I have a guy that I can delegate all those things to, so I can be focusing on the things that are important. That is
just
making sure that
watch him anyways.
of course. I mean, he's a guy we've been working together for a minute now, and he's a guy that, oddly enough, the relationship that we have, he really worries about.
That's good.
Making sure that I am good and I'm taken care of.
I will tell you. I did say, when you open, you will be successful because you have a following. People love your food. And I said that. It's hard to believe it. I don't believe it either for myself.
Yeah, I mean, but successful in what sense, though?
Yeah, but success is different for everyone. People come, people eat, people enjoy. Mm-hmm. That's a success.
Correct.
When you start breaking down P&Ls, it's a different type of success.
Yeah, that's coming soon.
And that's a whole different ballgame that happens after you open.
Yeah.
And you're aware. I mean, this isn't your first rodeo. You know how it goes. You open, you do the thing. The most important thing is that the people are coming back, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the most important thing. And then after that, it is your job, the team's job, to figure out how to make sure those dollars and cents go to where it matters.
Yeah, and I think that we have built a really good core team and a lot of consciousness and a lot of systems that we have in place that will enable us to make better decisions. But seeing a dining room full of happy people, they're sitting down in the chairs that we built. They're looking at the wall that I put together. They are looking at the mural that my tattoo artist made. They're sitting down in the bar that me, my former business partner would build together.
Right.
They're drinking the wine list that I sat down and I created for almost 7 months. They're eating the food that between me and Guido and the guys in the kitchen were coming up with. They're listening to the playlist that I've been creating for the past year and a half. Like, I'm driving and I'm just like adding tunes to my playlist, and the shit that you listen to, it's like, and sometimes the guys, like, sometimes the servers and some guests, like, that's a little too out there, but that's me, and I wanted to, it sounds cliche, I wanted to do an extension of my living room. But the restaurant became an extension of my body, like the art and the punk rock and the skateboarding, and it's really funny because I see this like old timers, like Coral Gables old timers going to the restaurant, and they walk in and they see this restaurant that it just doesn't look like it's a Coral Gables restaurant, and the music is a little loud and the food is a little bit spicy, and everyone just like has this like great attitude, and they love it. They come back.
I mean, I love all of that because I can feel all of that. I understand all of that, like the connection to the music, and it's like I'm very fortunate that in my world, I don't deal with the back end anymore. So like, my whole goal is to sit in to watch. I don't sit, but to watch the dining room and to see people eating, drinking, having a good time, and I know I've done my job.
Yeah.
And like see my team feel and flow, like, just this past Friday.
Oh fuck! Careful. Pete, what's up?
Oh, Petey's fine. You've alerted him. He's good. Watchdog, you can sit now. So, it like this. I think it was Friday. Friday we sold 12 ducks, which was a record for us. And just like service was impeccable. And I was expediting. I hate expediting, but I was expediting. And I was watching the kitchen move. I was watching the restaurant move. And I felt so happy. Yeah. Because it was so like, everything was in sync. And there's like a restaurateur that like actually cares about the restaurant, because there's restaurateurs that don't care about the restaurant. They just care about P&Ls.
Yeah.
I was through the moon happy.
Have you ever cried?
So many times.
Feeling that. Like, have you ever gotten, like, it has happened to me like 3 times already at the restaurant. And I've become this sentimental guy that I was not before, or I was like behind closed
Come on,
doors,
you've
whatever
always
it
been
is, right?
sentimental. I've known you for a long time.
But it was just
this
like,
is not
dude,
a thing.
dude. Like seeing people, I was just like going to Expo, and there were tears coming out of my eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but those tears were because I know like all the shit that, not even me, because I can take that, but all the shit that my family had to go through for the past year and a half in order for us to get to that point. It just brings tears to my eyes.
I mean, as we sit here and we talk about it now, I do get emotional. Just like, and it was just like Friday night service, and for a lot of people, it's just like, yeah, Friday was great or whatever, and I'm like, but you guys don't know where we come from.
Yeah.
There's only one person here that's been here since day one, which is Gio Festra, the Pastelito Papi. I don't know if you guys know him.
Greatest of all time.
He's the Pastelito Papi.
How does that guy get to be so chill? Like,
I don't know. That's an art form that I have not conquered yet. He's
like,
just
you just come in and the guy's just like,
yeah, he's always
up,
like
man?
right here, and he's very happy, and he's like very honest, which I love. But no one else has seen what we've seen. Like no one else has seen the evolution that we've seen. And I only know it's because of so many sacrifices that so many people made. So when I watched Friday happen, so when you expo, you work, but you watch. And you watch the thing and you're a part of the thing, but you're watching the whole dining room and the kitchen work and the operation.
Why don't you like doing expo?
Because I love to work the grill.
Okay.
It's just like, it's more of a part of who I am, but... Like, I love to just shut up and just talk shit for 5 hours.
I love doing that.
I know, and just
being
work.
a line cook again.
I know, and just like shut the fuck up, and you're just talking shit to the people around you that they can't keep up with you, other than like calling out orders and like wiping plates and whatever. And I know that's for some people, but for me, it's like, and to watch that team and several, like, there's a couple people on that team that I've groomed for between 1 to 4 years. In their evolution, that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
And then equally, the front of the house, something that I didn't understand very well 6 years ago, that I understand extremely well now, to see them operate too.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, we're pumping. We're doing so well. And it's like, it is emotional.
Yeah,
and I totally
for sure.
get it. Like, yeah, do I get over the top emotional? Yeah, I don't share that with anybody. But yes, it's one of those things that I sit there and I'm just like, fuck, man, like, it's like when we do brunch now for Saturdays and we do like 150 covers on a Saturday. When we started doing brunch here on Saturdays, I was doing 15 covers. I was working it by myself, expediting and working the line, which is fine because you're doing 15 to 25 people.
Yeah.
Now when you're doing 150, it's a totally different ball game. And they're just like, oh, we weren't that busy. I'm like, we did 140 covers today. What do you mean we weren't that busy? Like, yes, we're that busy. This is great. Be happy. Shut up. It's just like they don't understand that relation,
Yeah, man. It's definitely something that being able to be a part of that and being able to live all that shit is just like, and not only that, but just seeing the cooks just getting excited because we have a full dining room.
Yeah.
When I go in and tell the guys, yo, we have 30 open menus right now, get ready. What the fuck is going on? This little joint.
Yeah, I love that. Open menu counts, I always lie. 64 open.
Yeah,
what?
it's-
I'm like, no, it's not 64. It's 25.
Yo,
It's
like I never seen like, I mean, maybe because I haven't like had access to all the things that I have now and learning how to get access to all those things, but the amount of fucking cancellations in this town is insane.
welcome to my world. Just so people understand what we mean by
Holy shit.
open menu counts. An ICO is an open menu count.
Mm-hmm.
So my maitre d' will walk to me and give me an ICO that says...
What's an ICO?
I don't remember exactly what ICO means, but it's an open menu count.
Okay.
It's open, incoming, and something else.
Okay.
And it basically says we've done 50 covers, we have 20 open,
Okay.
we have 40 remaining.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's basically it's
Incoming.
basically reading the books.
Okay, whatever.
It's
Yeah.
reading the books to the line, and to see the just so people understand, like, we know a good restaurant knows when you're coming. We're ready for you.
Yeah.
That's basically what an ICO is.
Okay.
And it's just like I don't know, that interaction with the maitre d' bringing me like a thing, and it's like at the end of the night they know it's like we've already been open for 5 hours. We've done 110. We have 5 open, 0 remaining. It's like the kitchen's like, yes, we've made it to the end. We're there. You know, it's a good feeling to see.
And you guys are doing tasting menu now every day.
Every day, 5-course tasting menu, $125 a person, with a wine pairing.
Is the duck on the tasting menu?
No.
So you're adding...
People have added it though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clutch.
I love that. They can add it all they want. People have added it. I made it a point that I wanted us to have a tasting menu every day.
Yeah.
It took months to get us there.
I always ask myself why you were not doing that, but of course it was because of COVID and because of all the things that.
It was more because like, are we ready to do it? It's not because COVID. I pushed to try to do it early. That's where the Verso series came from.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do it every day, and we just weren't capable of doing it every day. And more like, do we have enough hands to execute it at the level that I want to execute it at? And the answer was always no from both sides. And I'm not going to push them to a place.
No.
When I see that they're ready to do it, but they're still holding back because they're fearful that they're going to fail. It's my job to push them over that.
Yeah.
And that's finally when we put it on the menu, I was like, we're sitting in an ops meeting on a Thursday, and I see all the things, and we talk about the tasting, and they're telling me their concerns or whatever. I said, all right, cool, the tasting will be on the menu on Tuesday. And everyone stayed quiet. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you're not telling me things that we can't avoid.
Yeah.
You're telling me things that we can avoid. What I'll do is I'll keep the menu stable for X amount of time until we understand the thing. When we understand the thing, then we're going to start to push even harder.
Yeah.
And we may even have 2 tastings on the menu.
Okay.
A starter and, a more of a journey experience, stuff that's not on the menu. But as a boss, it's your job to dictate that.
Yeah.
To help push them over that edge.
Yeah, to me, for example, when because we have a really small menu at the restaurant. I believe that we don't have more than 13 items on the menu right now. And the guys are like, hey, when are we adding more things to the menu? I'm like, not yet. Just let's wait. And then we add one thing, and then we take another thing, and then we add another thing, and we just start doing things. But the cook inside of me wants just to let's just fucking go and do everything.
Yeah, it's tough.
I want to show you what I'm capable of.
It's but the little cook on the side, and then you have the restaurateur on the other side.
But then
and
the operator is like, no, you gotta wait, man. You gotta wait. You gotta eat the whale one bite at a time.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the not the hardest thing, but it's the most challenging thing for me is making sure that I'm eating that whale one bite at a time.
Yeah, I mean it's a large thing to consume, right? Mm-hmm. And we actually post COVID, I made the decision to trim the menu down significantly.
Do you still have the burger though?
Yeah, but it's only if and it's only if you order it, and there's only 12 a night. But I trimmed it down significantly because the menu items, and this is what I would say to your cooks when they ask you that, is the menu items that need to be there need to be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So whether you have 15 or 22,
you shouldn't
25,
have a weak dish. Period. That's
right. When I ask people what's our weak point, and I have this conversation with the heads in the room all the time. Mm-hmm. What's our weakest dish? What's our weakest point? And when they can't say anything, okay, then maybe now we're ready to add a dish. Yeah, maybe now at that point. Well, if you think, this dish could use this, and this, when we're in the middle of service, this happens or whatever, and you're not ready to add anything to the menu. Mm-hmm. If you're in that conversation, you're like, this one, when we pick this up, this happens or whatever the fuck. You're not ready to add another dish to the menu because of the conversation we just had. Mm-hmm. You just said it yourself. We're not there yet. Now, if you're in that conversation, you're like, this, and, we're good, and all these things are good. All right, now at that point, you could push them even further.
Yeah.
And that's part of your job as a leader to dictate that.
Yeah, man. Sometimes when you also see them getting a little bit comfortable, you gotta push them and you gotta be like, okay,
I hate comfort.
Are you comfortable because you're just cutting corners, or are you comfortable because you're ready to take on something else?
Right.
And then when the restaurant's ready to take on something else, that's when you like push it a little bit more.
Well, I think the biggest thing that you said there is the restaurant ready.
That's the most important thing, because the thing is that sometimes your grill cook can take another dish, right? But maybe your service staff can't, right? Maybe the guest is not even ready for that. Also, does that dish fits what we're trying to do? The message that we're trying to give to people?
Well, it's
Maybe
also
not,
like is the P&L ready for that? Are you ready to take on a large steak? You know how much that large steak costs you.
Yeah.
It may not move as much as you want.
Yeah.
Are you ready to take on that cost? The reason why we added the tasting on the menu is because Ashley pushed it to be on the menu. Isn't that right, Chad?
I've heard a lot of things about you.
Yeah. Don't believe them all.
No, not bad.
If they're good, don't believe it. All right. Now is for the traditional Pan Con podcast. I'm going to take a leak break.
Oh, man, we don't have a leak sponsor.
We don't have a leak sponsor yet?
We don't.
God.
That thump you just heard, that was my pen ass hitting the bottom of the table.
Now on 1210 The Man, Romberg's pen ass hits the bottom of the table.
That's going to be our 1210 The Man promo on like every episode.
Welcome to the second half of Pan Con podcast, brought to you by Nick's Ball Tickler.
Take it away.
All right.
That fucking ball tickler.
All right. Where were we? Okay.
Three Negronis in or 2 Negronis in?
This is just a warm-up, Chef.
Ooh.
You don't even know.
Shit.
Nah, I mean, listen. Week 4. This is what, week 3 or 4 for you?
It's gonna I don't even know. I think it's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 3. Because I got to do payroll next week again.
Those payroll weeks are tough. And you opened in a 3 payroll. Well, for us, it was a 3 payroll rotation. So
I opened on the 20th, 4/20.
Oh, there you
I
go.
opened up. It was intended.
I'm sure. All right, so 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
How do you feel? That's such a broad statement. I guess the better question is, what are you looking to do next? As in, within the restaurant.
Fuck. I've been trying to ask myself that question for the past 3 weeks. Just trying to find more staff. Opening for lunch, opening for brunch, if we have to. It's not a pressing issue. And just keep growing the menu, keep growing the team.
Are you open for breakfast currently? Because you mentioned that with your landlord situation.
I am, yeah. Yeah, I am. We're open from From Monday till Friday, we're open for breakfast from 9 until 11:30. And then we're closed on the weekends for that. And then for dinner, we're open from Tuesday till Saturday. The restaurant for dinner is closed Sunday, Monday. So everyone gets 2 days off.
I think the expectations previously of landlords with requesting shifts open is something that needs to change.
Yeah, man.
And I've thought about that a lot lately, just because of the mass struggle that it is with labor, and it's really not. I think you could find people to fit a job, but to find people that are going to fit within your thing and your standards is more of an issue.
Yeah, for sure. I have, like we were talking about, I've been lucky that the staff that I have is the staff that they worked with me before. But even though we're spread too thin, and I've been doing job postings, I've been doing Instagram posts, I've been doing nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like the dishwasher, because we only have one dishwasher, the dishwasher in the morning is me. And the guy that we have this beautiful group of Syrian refugees that we started building when we were open at the other restaurant. This guy's basically, what happened with them is that when all the Syrian refugees started coming to coming to the States, they were going to California. And there was a plane full of Syrian refugees that landed in Los Angeles, and the governor said, "You're not coming here anymore."
That's nice.
So they sent all of these guys to Miami. What's up, man? And a friend of mine that she was a client for the other restaurant, she reached out to me and she's like, hey, I have these guys that they're Syrian, they don't speak any English, they whatever, but they're just looking for a job. And I was opening the other spot, so I was like, I need dishwashers. Can they just do the job? So there's 3 badass gentlemen and 1 lady, they came over. And super humble, super generous, beautiful people. And they were like, we're down for everything. We're down to work. We're down to do anything. These guys, one of them is a lawyer. The other guy is a civil engineer. And then the other one is an architect, I believe. Right? And they were just like washing dishes and picking herbs and making dumplings and just like learning how to speak English. So for the first 3 months of me working with them, I had to go and I had to use Google Translate for them, right?
I remember you told me the story.
And they became part of the family, man, and they make the most beautiful family meal on the planet. They're super generous. They're really hardworking. So right now, I can only employ 1 of them. And it's a challenge because, for example, right now they're on Ramadan, so he has to stop working right when the sun is setting, so he can go out and he can pray and he can break his fast. So we have to jump in for maybe an hour just to make sure that he's covered. But trying to find staff is just like incredible. Like, I need a dishwasher in the morning because I'm receiving the orders, I'm prepping, I am doing accounting with the accountant. I am just putting things together, doing meetings with vendors and doing all those things, and at the same time prepping and washing dishes. Mm-hmm. And people there's no workers. There's nobody that even shows up. So in a way, I'm lucky because I have enough people to cover the night shift. But in order for me to open for breakfast fully and to open for lunch fully, I need people, and I just don't have it.
Right.
And the only people that I can go to is the Syrian families, and there's a lot of people from Iraq. There's a lot of people from different places in the Middle East, but they just can't do the job that I need them to do. So
right.
It's a funny place to be right now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think there's people looking for work. It's more like the people that you need to fit what you're looking for is really the harder thing, and I understand that 100%. It's an interesting time. I mean, opening a restaurant right now is
crazy.
I think it's crazy in any climate, really, opening a restaurant, but it's now more so than ever because people want to go out and dine. Obviously, they were stuck at home for a year, and they want to go out and they want to do the things, but it's like, it's also like you said, there's only so many covers that you could do in a night because of what you can handle.
Yeah.
And I'm big on that. Like, I'll never overextend our restaurant for financial purposes in order to
you sacrifice service. It hurts me. What's up, Rigo?
Oh yeah, Rigoberto.
How are you, man?
Rigo was just promoted to sous chef.
I heard. Congrats, bro.
Thanks, guys.
Little Rigo's worked for all of us. Rigo's worked for all of us.
Yeah.
Pablo, me, Phil. He's gone the gauntlet.
He's been around the block.
What a gauntlet that is to go through. Phil,
the good old Rigo.
Pablo, and me, and he's still here. Man. And
Rigo.
he's reliable and he's amazing. So I'm happy he's here.
I'm really happy to see him happy. That's for sure.
That's good.
For sure.
Yeah, I do believe that staffing was always an issue in restaurants. I think now it's just the volume is more. Mm-hmm. But staffing has always been an issue. I truthfully, I stand by that. Staffing has always been an issue. We've always been a person short, 2 people short. Now it's more like 3 or 4 people short.
And that affects the food a lot, right?
100%. And that's like what I was saying.
How can you keep up? Like, because there's actually a question that I really wanted to ask you is that you're rolling out tasting menus and you're doing because your restaurant has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Of of course, and it has evolved in a really positive way in every single like way. But it's like you're doing all this shit that sometimes I look at it and I'm like, how the fuck is he doing this?
You mean in one specific or overall?
I mean, overall.
Yeah, overall it is a little daunting. You know, like we signed up to do a lot of these things pre-COVID. You know, and the growth now just happened post-COVID. So it's a different conversation now to have. And what we're contractually, I'm personally guaranteed to a lot of things that I have to stand by. You know, so it's not like I can take back the things that I signed.
No,
you
you
know,
gotta
like
do it.
when you enter in a world of business, it is a dog eat dog world. So you got to show up. And yeah, I mean, I think within Ariat specific, why we're able to do so many things is because I'm fortunate that kind of like those bones that have been in place for so long are just there.
Yeah.
But the growth part, it is daunting and it is a lot. And I'm a true believer that life gives you what you need when you need it. And I'm hoping that things work themselves out. I'm fortunate that, you know, Chug's hired a GM, AGM, chef, sous chef already. You know, 3 months.
The chef that you're gonna have, I think, is gonna be badass.
You know her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's amazing. And
It's you know, I think it's a perfect fit.
I think it was a great fit too. And I think that I see a lot of great things from her specific, and equally like the GM also and the AGM as well.
You know, one of the things that I really like about what you're doing is the fact that you're employing, and I'm pretty sure that you're not doing this intentionally, but it's just like all the badass women that you have around you. Like there was a point in No Name that my whole line was women.
I remember.
Fucking loved it, dude.
Yeah.
Like these girls were just like running circles around everybody.
Yeah.
You know, taking no shit, just doing the better job. And it's not a genre thing, but it's just like it's something that they have this fire and they have this nature that it just like makes everything better. Like my GM at the restaurant, she's a beast. You know, I wish I could find more girls because it's just like it's amazing how they work and how they get shit done.
You know, I was actually asked that by Laura Riley from the Washington Post when she did that follow. You know, she followed me for a full day. That article that we'll discuss in a couple days, and she's like, you know, I love the diversity that you have here, and I'm like. People have a lot of like sentiments about the way I answer this question. I'm like, you know, I don't see that, and I see the diversity, but it's not like what I focus on.
Yeah, for sure.
I look at the human being, and like what drives them.
Yeah.
What drives you as a person? And it's like I don't care your gender, your ethnicity. I don't care about any of those things. Like, do we align? Do we see eye to eye? And those things to me are what matters the most. If it happens to be, you know, female, that's great. If it happens to be African American, that's great. If it happens to be aliens,
for sure,
great.
for sure.
If it happens to be, you know, Hispanics, great. It just happened to be like Ashley, which walked through here several times to inform me about things that I hate, which is like leaking pipes. She's incredible, right? I call her Mini-Me because she reminds me of me when I was her age.
Yeah.
You know, equally Manny, you know, being Mexican from descent, and he's incredibly talented, super hardworking.
He is a really hardworking guy.
And super talented.
Yeah.
Incredibly talented. Sherry, that runs our commissary downstairs, she's African American. Like, she's amazing. She's super driven. She cares.
Commissary kitchens are no joke, man.
They are no
Holy
joke. And right now,
shit.
like, you know, the commissary kitchen's going to kick up very soon because of like all the growth that we're doing. But
I used to run a commissary kitchen for John George for 4 restaurants almost.
man,
And that thing was just
sounds
like
daunting.
insane. You know.
And it's just like that, the diverse nature of that.
Yeah.
It just happens because people's ideology is aligned. You know, like
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was raised by women, man.
me too.
You know,
Earlier today, someone was asking me about like my relationship with my mom. Like, I'm a mama's boy, but like, you know, my sister, she's 8 years older than me. She raised me. You know, my aunts. You know, like these people. My grandmother. These 4 very strong female figures in my life were the ones that shaped my life.
Yeah.
Largely, you know, and that's why to me I don't see it as a gender thing. I see it as like my grandmother is the hardest working person I've ever met.
Sure.
And it didn't matter that she was a woman. I just know that she's my grandmother and she's the hardest working person.
Yeah, but you
I've
also
ever met.
learn how to, like, especially in a Latin American or in a Latin culture. You know, you learn how to see things with a different perspective. You know, being brought up
Open
not in
perspective.
the macho Latin American culture,
Right.
you know, where you know, like we were brought up by just women, and it's just fucking awesome. You know, my mom had 2 jobs. She was raising my sister and myself, and you know, she just made shit happen. You know, so
I see, you know, when a lot of stuff happened in my childhood, my mother and my sister were like the backbone of my survival, I guess. You know, like they were the backbone of like what shaped me as a human being.
yeah, I think that for me, like if I saw my mom grinding, and she's got the most fucking amazing work ethic. I think that, you know, some of that I have to thank her for that, because I believe that work ethic is everything, and she taught me that indirectly. But I just saw my mom just, you know, just trying to find ways for us to survive, you know, and just raising 2 kids in a third world country, trying to give us the best that she could give us, and everything. Is just like, it makes you, at least for me, it just makes me, you know, respect like single mom so much, man.
Yeah.
You know, like you're a single mom and you just do all these things, and you're just making sure that your family's set and your family's taken care of. It's just like, it's fucking amazing.
I see my grandmother in her old age, and she's still like, I'll come over, and like her first questions are always like, how's the business? She's such a businesswoman.
¿Ya comiste, hijo?
Oh, I mean, that's another question, but
¿Está flaco?
yeah.
¿Y esos tatuajes? No, mi niño, ¿qué se hace en el cuerpo?
No, I mean, they've kind of accepted all the tattoos by this point, but it's like,
My mom cries every time that I get a tattoo.
oh man, actually my mom, you know, it's terrible when I look back at like when I was 16 and my parents were getting divorced. I was like, Mom, I want to get a tattoo, and she wants to be like that cool mom.
Yeah, for sure.
And my mom is like, she's amazing, but she's like, you know, she's square, and she's like, she was the mom. She was the oldest of 3 kids.
Yeah.
So she's always been a mother because
Okay.
my grandparents worked so much, you know? So she just wanted like me to be happy, right? And she was like, yeah, I'll go with you. And this whole time, speaking of Ashley, that's Ashley. Say hi. Wave to everyone.
Ashley.
Wait
Yeah.
for everyone, it's a podcast.
No, but there's cameras.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There it
There's
is.
a camera there.
I don't have my car with me, so do you mind if I just take the caddy?
Relax. Take it easy. Apparently there's a shortage of gas, so I'm going to say no to that.
There
Yeah.
is. I spent like 2 hours trying to find gas today.
So, what was I? Oh,
Mom's.
yeah.
grandma's.
When I was 16, I was like, Mom, I want to get a tattoo. It was my first tattoo. And
Uh-huh.
she's like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. And just like, I remember going to the tattoo shop with her, and she was mortified. Mortified. Just like, it's like, whoa, why are we doing this? It looks like it hurts. And, you know, I'm like 16. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
be cool, you know. That tattoo has already been covered up. It's just, I think back and like, she is such a great human being and such a great person to learn from, like humility wise, and like I learned so much from her.
Yeah, because I grew up with a great grandfather and a great grandmother, and she was from Mexico, he was from Spain, and my grandmother was
What a pairing, eh?
from like the coast in Colombia. So we just grew up in this little house in like the mountains of close by to Bogota, and it was just like my aunts, they were single moms, and my mom was a single mom, and you know my grandmother, even though that she was married to my grandfather, like he was never around, so she was almost like a single mom, and you know that stuck with me. You know, like that is just something that has always been with me. To appreciate the hardworking women that they just get shit done for their kids.
It's something that I admire. You know, like I know that I was a difficult child. My sister was incredibly difficult as a child. I would say that I was easier than my sister.
You were easier?
Oh, fuck yeah, I was easier than my sister. You know, raising the two very strong individuals that me and my sister are.
Yeah.
You know,
my sister is my opposite.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that my sister is my opposite. I would just say that she definitely groomed me to be the way that I am.
Okay.
So that says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just being very vocal, being very open, being very like no fucks given. My sister created that monster for sure, not my mom. So my mom just tried to tame the two beasts. Okay. I would say that. And she's so sweet. And she's so humble, and she's so, like, caring, but she's so stubborn at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think we both carry a lot of those attributes, too.
Sure.
So, I don't know. I look at it in a very interesting perspective of, like, when people talk about the gender separation when it comes to work.
Yeah.
Like, I just never saw it. For me, it's like, we're all doing a job. We're doing a job. We're doing a thing. You care about the thing. You care about the job. Then we're all going to do this job together. And I don't care what planet you're from, what part of the country you're from, what part of the world you're from. We're all here to work together. Mm-hmm. And if you believe in that thing, then you're totally good by me.
Yeah, man.
You know, I have such a hard time associating that thought process with other people that have that thought process, because I've never been able to compute it, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I have plenty of females that are in strong positions, and I think they incredibly deserve it, and we're better because of them. Mm-hmm. Brittany, I mean, she runs the entire show along with me. You know, the GM at Nave, the AGM at Nave, the GM now at Chugs, the AGM at Chugs, all female. And they all come from very different walks of life. You know, ethnicities too. It's just, I've never understood that thought process, man. And it's so hard for me to understand it because it's such a shallow perspective too. You know, and it's the same thing goes with race. Like, I don't get that thought process, man. Like, people are like, oh yeah, you know what I mean, and I'm like, no,
I don't know what you mean.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't see what you see.
I don't see what you see, and it's weird because the world is so dysfunctional in that standpoint.
Yeah, at No Name we had one of my really close friends, Ray. He's a guy from Compton, and he had it really, really, really rough when he was growing up. And you know, he's a really, you know, amazing sommelier. And he happens to be African American, and we were located in a neighborhood in South Miami where there's a lot of, you know, white people, and he was having a really hard time sometimes dealing with the guests because there was a lot of people that they were calling they were calling him the help. For God's sakes, he's the fucking GM of the restaurant. He's one of the brightest, youngest sommeliers in the nation right now. The guy is just like amazing, you know, and just seeing how people can actually just like start raining.
I hope not.
Seeing people that they just put the color and the rays above everything else is just like something that I have never quite understood. That, you know.
Me neither, man.
And there were times that this guy is 6'5". He's big.
Why don't I remember this guy?
He was crying. No, you've met him a lot of times. And sometimes he used to go to a kitchen and he was pissed off, and there were tears in his eyes because the clients were calling him.
All right, Demonte.
Where the clients were calling him the help. You know, he's the guy running the restaurant. He's the guy pouring your wine. And he's the guy just like making shit happen. You know, so and just like making him feel so little is just like something that I've never been able to comprehend.
Right.
You know?
I think it also goes back to that ideology of like the restaurant employees are just to help, you know, and it even more it intensifies more when it comes to like the gender and the race thing too.
But don't you think that has changed a little bit though?
Absolutely.
Like people,
well, it's
people
changed.
have.
Well, it's changed because of people like you and I.
Okay.
You know why? Because for me, I'm not the help, man.
No, fuck that.
And I'm not the help, and the people here are not the help. Like we're here providing an experience.
Correct.
If you want to treat me like the help, you can get your money. You can get,
And
the,
you can
fuck
get the fuck out.
And
So-
I've told people that. I was like, if
So
you think
I had-
you could treat my staff as such, you can get your shit and get the fuck out because I don't want your.
I
money.
had this guy.
It's crazy. Actually, I'm sorry to go on this fucking tangent, but
No,
it's
no,
like,
I'm gonna go in a rant in a minute.
that,
So
this happened like maybe a month ago, and there was a guy that had come here several times, and I had heard rumors that he was like very weird. And
A guest?
Yeah, a guest.
Okay.
And I won't say any names. We lost a palm tree, a palm frond, and I'm in my office, and I was actually working on the Chugs menu, and Chef Manny was here, and he was working a line, and whatever, and he was like, "Chef, we have an issue with guest X, Y, and Z on table, whatever. I don't feel comfortable serving this person further."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, let me. I want to know more."
Yeah.
So I walked over, and he told me the whole situation, and it was disgusting. I was appalled, right, of just treating my staff, and especially the females on my staff, in a certain kind of way.
Okay.
And I mean, so I went to the table, and I fed this guy a ton of times, but like I don't communicate with guests a ton because I'm not a table toucher.
Yeah, me neither.
I know you're not.
I try to.
I know you do, and I try to too, and it's just not
fucking
part of our
weird.
nature. Yeah, no, I get it.
I go sometimes to the tables and I'm like, I start mumbling. I don't know what.
All right, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go cook. I'm gonna go cook.
Let me go.
So I go to the table and I said, Mr. X, Y, and Z,
Uh-huh.
I just want to let you know that I'm going to return your money back. 'Cause he had already paid his bill. I'm going to return your money back, and you're no longer allowed to dine here further. Mm-hmm. And he goes on this tirade. He's like, I don't understand, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know, I don't know you. I don't care about really like what you're saying. I just know that my staff here I trust and I care about very much, and they no longer want to serve you. So I just want you to know that if you ever do make a reservation here again, I will call you personally, and I will tell you that you are not allowed to dine at any of my establishments moving forward.
Yeah.
And he goes on to tell me, he's like, I'm one of the best X, Y, and Z's in the country.
Fuck that.
Food related or something?
Nah, it was medical related.
Just throwing random shit around.
Yeah, I'm like,
Just dropping names. It's
just
like,
you know, just
I
to tell
am
me,
the
just
chip
to
of surgery, of
just
whatever.
just to tell me how much money he had.
Yeah, fuck
and I said,
that.
you know, I equally believe that I'm one of the best chefs in the country too, and it doesn't give me the opportunity to be a fucking piece of shit
No.
ever. And I will tell you that your money,
It's not worth it.
I don't need it.
No, it's not worth it.
I don't need it. I don't live and die by it. And at the same time, my staff isn't your help, and you are
No.
not going to treat them however the fuck
Your
you
staff's health is more important than his dollars.
want. But not just that, my staff to
Just like,
understand.
fuck
my
that.
my staff to
Yeah.
understand that I have their back.
Yeah.
You know, and like it had never been brought to me like the gravity of how much of a piece of shit this human being was, and I was just like, and I told him, I was like, I do not want your money. Money does not make my world go round.
Yeah.
And what's much more important to me is the people that are here believe in what we're doing
Yeah.
and doing their job and being happy at their job.
Look,
so you, sir, you can get the fuck out and never fucking come back.
Yeah.
And I ushered him the fuck out.
I had this guy, you know, like I'm being really sarcastic, but I hate when vendors show up when you're busy with
Uninvited.
uninvited.
No, I tell them to go
So
the fuck
yeah,
away.
so I had this guy from a produce company that he wanted to do business with us for a minute now, and
All
I was
produce
always
companies are
and I was,
trash.
and I, yeah,
All of them.
I agree, 1,000%.
They're all the same,
right?
same form of trash.
So this guy comes in 3 times, and I'm busy, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't want him to be a dick because I've been before. I'm trying to change that. So I was like, hey,
Be who you are, Pablo.
I'm busy. Let's just, I'll call you. And then the guy was just relentless, showing up 3-4 times. So eventually one day I tell him, hey, come here tomorrow at 11 a.m. We'll sit down and I'll see what's up with you, right? So the guy comes in that day at 11 a.m. and we sit down and I hear him talking in Spanish and I don't say anything, right? So I started talking. My wife was, in the building in the morning, and my kid, because we have such limited time, he does, e-learning. He's doing his school from the restaurant. So my kids are running around the restaurant. My wife is just like setting up the tables, and she's doing all the things that she does in the morning, cleaning up and everything. The guy sits down, and he asks me where I'm from. And I'm like, I'm Colombian. I was like, oh, nice. And I noticed his accent, and I'm like, hey, are you Chilean? Are you from Chile? Because I just pick up an accent. And he starts on this tirade about how Chileans are the fucking worst, and they're the biggest piece of shit on the planet, and they're like the worst fucking South Americans. And I'm just standing, and I lean back, right? And I just let him just do his South American third world fucking rant. And then I look at him, and I'm like, well, I mean, it's really sad, because the thing is that my wife and my kids are Chilean. And I'm not doing fucking business with you because you're a piece of shit.
Love that.
So I need you to take your bullshit clipboard and your shitty ass fucking business cards, and I need you to get the fuck out of my restaurant, because I am not doing business with you.
Oh man, this
The
is
guy,
so good.
The guy, like,
No, se quedó frío.
Se quedó frío, man.
Yeah,
He's like, oh no,
love
man,
that.
I'm sorry. I'm like, I
Fuck
don't
you
care.
and you're
I don't
sorry.
care. Just get the fuck
Yo,
out
you're
of
sorry
here.
now because I'm not gonna give you my fucking money, you piece of shit.
No.
You dumb fuck.
And my wife just like, she didn't know what was going on until I started dropping F-bombs.
I love Pablo dropping F-bombs.
Get
That's
the
the
fuck
best.
out of here, man. Like, who do you think you are coming here in my restaurant, in my house, with my kids, my wife, talking shit about who? You don't even know where I am.
Yeah.
You don't even know where I'm from. And you're just like talking shit about people. Like,
But it more shows, that instance more shows the true fiber of a human being. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
they thought they were in a comfortable place to talk whatever kind of shit that they
No.
wanted.
no.
Right? And I love that you crushed him. I love
I'll do it again.
I know. I wish you would tell off, and we will do this after some other time. You tell me what company that is, so I'll make sure I never do business with a company
fuck
like
those
that.
guys.
But it's just like, be who you are, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, use common sense. Humans are humans, bro. Listen,
Yeah,
there's trash humans
Everywhere.
in every walk of life.
yeah.
There's trash Cubans. Listen, I love my people, but there's trash Cubans. There's trash all kinds of things.
No, I've been told like never make business with Colombians all the time, and people don't know that I'm Colombian.
Well, it's the same. It's like, you know,
No.
I don't necessarily look Cuban, right?
They're like, those fucking Colombians, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
those fucking Colombians. It's just, it's one of those things that when people think that they're in an area of comfort and they start to like spill all their like vile garbage, that really gets me always.
It's a little bit. I mean, just
Welcome, Nick, here with his
And the
ball
ball
tickler,
tickler.
and the
It's
ball
tickler.
tickler enters.
There's an element of
Enter
that,
the ball
especially with
tickler.
like any kind of home repair or construction. Like the minute somebody shows up who doesn't have a Z at the end of their name, son americano. Like when you get a knock on the door from the plumber you've never met, and es un gringo, you're like, score. That's the guy I want doing my plumbing. I don't need this Latin maraña, like fucking under the table bullshit for my plumbing.
Yeah, man.
There's things that, whether right or wrong, you even for your own people, if we're gonna call it that, it crosses your mind.
Listen, when there's Cubans doing any kind of like construction anywhere around me, I double check their work.
That's what I'm saying.
And I love them, because we talk shit like there's no tomorrow. But I'll double check them and I'll make sure that they finish all their things because I know my people.
Yeah, with Colombians, you just gotta check your money, man.
But you know,
Parceiro, eu tô a cobrar extra. No, man. Right. You know, we're not in Colombia, man. You know, I'm gonna pay you this. You're gonna do this. No, pero yo arreglo. No. You know? But it's like, for example, my name is Pablo and I'm Colombian. How many times I've gotten the fucking Pablo Escobar jokes?
oh man,
You know,
I'm sorry.
It's just like, no, I mean, the thing is that when I was a little kid, I went through all that shit. I lived through all that, the bombings, the killings, you know, like almost near death life experiences and shit like that. It's just like, so a lot of people don't know. It's just like the same shit with when people talk about Che Guevara. Like there was this bar in Wynwood right? I think I told you this story, right? So there was this bar in Wynwood that they were putting Pablo Escobar posters all over the fucking place.
I remember. Oh, I remember you mentioned it.
Yeah, and I sent them a message and I was like, this is fucking disrespectful. Like, you're just putting a fucking
Rain.
Well, oh, okay.
Just so we know the state of the world, as I was putting my windows up, there was a guy walking by in a chef jacket, and he was like, "Oh, I was thinking like those windows should be up." I'm like, "Hey man, how's your job? Are you happy with your job? Where are you working at right now?" I was like, "Here's my name. Just if you ever want to move, just come on over."
Showing concern for your windows.
Bro, that's just like that. That's right there, initiative, man.
Thoughtfulness.
If the guy has a lighter on his pocket and he's worried about the windows, his fucking prep is gonna be ready.
I don't know about all that, but I'll go along with it.
So this bar in Wynwood had a fucking poster of Pablo Escobar,
Oh yeah.
and they were posting that shit on Instagram. Like, this is just this fucking pop culture thing that everyone likes. And I sent them a message, and I was, this is unacceptable. This guy killed thousands of people. This guy is one of the reasons why my country is the way that it is.
Yeah.
And you guys are just like making this thing like, you know, a pop culture item kind of thing.
It's a pop culture item,
Fuck
just like
that.
Che. It's a pop
know?
culture item.
Like, it was just like crazy, you know.
Do you think Che is like a pop culture item?
It is.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that there's two different. I would compare Pablo Escobar more to like the fascination with like Al Capone, right? Like,
Yeah.
Well, a
Yeah.
gangster.
That's
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, Al
Yeah,
Capone-
yeah.
I think Al Capone is somebody that also you could trace a lot of fucking. There's a lot of blood that flows from that guy's story.
Yeah.
And his posters are all over the place, and there's a fascination.
So you find them different but similar.
I find Al Capone more comparable to Pablo Escobar than.
So who do you find similar to Che?
Mao.
Oh yeah.
Mao, yeah, which I mean, I think like Mike Tyson has a Mao tattoo or something.
Right.
You know, not quite the same.
Well, it's like Maradona.
We've all heard Mike
Che
Tyson's
Guevara
interviews,
tattoo.
right? So we know who we're talking about here.
What?
We've all heard Mike Tyson's interviews. No, we know who we're talking about here.
Fucking awesome.
Final.
Final.
The back is broken.
My back is broken. Final.
I eat your children.
Oh man, it's so bad. So bad. I love Mike in the ring though. Mike, I never want to face you in the ring, but I love you, bro.
One day in Brooklyn, and I saw fucking Mike Tyson, and I just got starstruck. I couldn't like take a picture with him. He just like walked by next to me, like, what the fuck is going on? You know?
There's certain people like that.
Yeah,
I'm not a starstruck person,
yeah.
you know, but like when I fed Paul Liebrandt, like I was like,
told me, yeah,
I was like that. You know, like I really respect his food. I don't know if I totally respect him as a human, but at the same time, it's one of those things when you respect someone's work, I don't know if you need to respect them as a human, per se.
You've heard
Charles Barkley, like he's a loser, but I mean he's lost a lot of money in gambling and
I
he's
don't
a
know.
fucking
I don't know if you've heard
degenerate. But
this whole thing about Marco Pierre White and his comments about women in the kitchen
of
and all
course
this
I
shit.
have, and that's why I took down his comments in my kitchen. Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like I read Marco's book.
Yeah.
But also Marco has, and listen.
What do you mean by taking down his comments in the kitchen?
Well, I have quotes
Okay.
printed in the kitchen, and I've taken his quotes down because I respect his work.
Yeah, for sure.
But that, I mean, and it was just recent. It was like a verbal attack that made no sense to me. But it's also Marco has. Sorry to cut you off, but like Marco has completely done a 180 from who he was, and he's sold out to the system to make money.
Of course, I mean he's selling fucking Maggie products now.
Yeah, I mean,
You know.
and Nor products too.
Yeah.
And like to know the cook that Marco was to the cook that he is now,
Yo,
like
I use Maggie in my kitchen though.
yeah, but I'm not. That's not to judge. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you're gonna stand against it, then don't go for
So
it.
do you think that all these guys, like for example, the Marco Pierre Whites and I mean by association, the Gordon Ramsays back then, not now, right?
I mean, Gordon's still a douchebag.
I know,
now.
but what I'm saying is that this kitchen culture and this kitchen macho and the mistreatment of people and the abuse and all that stuff, like they're at fault. and idolizing all these guys. At the same time, you're idolizing the brutality of the kitchen treatment, right?
I will say that,
like a guy that treats kitchen their kitchen staff bad, the guy that burns their line cooks, the guy that rips their clothes off.
Were you ever burned as a line cook?
Yes,
I was too.
Yes, my chef.
Someone threw a whole paella pan up my face.
No, my chef used to put his tongues on the burner, and he used to burn my arms when I was not when I was not moving fast enough.
Yeah,
and to me that was like, yeah, you know,
I know, but we're Sabajes, bro. Like, you know, like I'm the same way. I'm like, yeah, it's cool, let's go.
But it's not cool though. And these guys are fault.
Listen, at the same time, like, we are all humans with free thought, right?
Yeah.
And how we decide to run our own kitchens is totally up to us. I am not perfect in any which way or form. Like, I have fucked up several times. I get too animated about things. I am like, but I understand that, and I check myself often, and I think that's part of, like,
yeah.
I think part of my personal struggle is, like, toting that line, and we've talked about it before. Is
that
like
shit,
the difference between a shepherd and a Viking. Like, be a shepherd, not a Viking.
I remember that, yeah.
And it's like, I struggle with that a lot, and it's not like I'm not burning anybody, and I'm not demeaning anybody. And I think what's the most important part is understanding that we have an opportunity to lead our ships differently.
And we also have an opportunity to change somebody's life. You know?
But that's all kitchen culture is about.
Yeah.
It's changing somebody's life.
To me, that changed the moment that I had kids. When you talk to somebody and you're like, this is somebody else's kid. Like, how would you feel and what would you think if your kid goes home and he has his elbows or his arms burned because his shaft burned up? Like, how would you feel? Like, that's somebody else's fucking, you know? Like, to me that changed. It was not the fact that I was doing that, because I have never done that to an employee, right? But I went through that, and at some point I was this miserable quote unquote chef that I thought that I was, that it was just like belittling people and treating people like shit, you know? Until you realize that these people have feelings too, man, and these people are somebody else's kids, and they bro, you don't know what happens when they go home after you just like make them feel this fucking small.
Well, I think a true part of, like, management and being a chef is, like, everyone needs to be coached differently, right?
Correct.
And
I agree with you.
That's management, whether front of the house, back of the house. I think whatever.
The approach needs to be different with every single person.
With every single person. And, like, I know what I react to well, and I think part of the hard part for me is, like, now I need to push myself. The hardest, like, my entire life, my entire career, I had chefs, whether I liked the way that they worked or I didn't like the way that they worked. And then previous to that, I had coaches that, whether I liked the way they coach or I did or I didn't, they pushed me in a different way.
Well, that built you who you are. That made you who you are in a way.
And that's true, but at the same time, it's like being something different and being something else for somebody is a totally, it's a different experience. And when you're coaching someone to be better, it's a heavy responsibility, you know, and I'm proud of the responsibility that I carry. I think I carry it a lot, and I think the weight of it is a lot. But at the same time, it's like it's an opportunity that we choose to carry.
Yeah.
And I think to your point, like, talking about how these guys created the culture that within what we live, all humans have the opportunity of free thought.
Yeah.
And we choose to be away or we choose not to be away.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I dealt with plenty of, like, former bosses that I feel like, and I do believe this, that the mental abuse is worse than the physical. You know, like, but I also played sports for fucking 12 years, so I put myself through a gauntlet physically. You know, mentally, you have to help people through whatever they're getting through.
Yeah.
You don't have to demean them.
No.
and you don't have to like play these weird mind games, and it's like it's so fucked, you know, in the long term. Like I don't know, man. Like I've seen so much shit, and like, you know, the chef that threw a paella pan at me. I love that guy. You know, like he never demeaned me mentally. You know, and I think that was just like a product of like the moment
and their own frustration and their
Right.
own being burned
And
out.
he was
and
he was younger at that time too, and he, you know, I've actually never talked about him on this podcast, but the other ones that didn't throw things at me and didn't necessarily burn me, I think that the mental aspect of what they did was way worse.
yeah, but the thing is that, you know, 90% out of, well, not 90, I'm just talking shit, but, you know, what's the percentage of the people that go through that abuse actually become or actually get to a point where you are right now?
I don't know. It's
You
tough,
know,
man. That's a hard
It's-
statistic to find.
You know, like how many guys that you have worked with on the line, and how many guys that I have worked with the line, that we've gone through the same abuse, or we've gone through the same, you know, mental or physical abuse, or even both, have gotten to a point where, like, yo, like, not a lot of them.
No. I
You
mean,
know,
but
some
it's-
of them have quit because of the circumstances. Some of them just never made the cut, and they're still the 45-year-old line cooks, and they're going to be the 45, 50-year line cooks for the rest of their lives. There's just a few that actually endure and actually push through, you know, the physical, mental, not only abuse that your boss gives you, but also that you give yourself. And you pass that Rubicon. You get through that. You know,
Man.
not a lot of them.
You guys want water?
I don't want water. If you want to get me a beer, it would be great. Whatever. Just where are you going to Taurus? Let's ask him for an unbranded.
Are we still
white.
doing this thing, or
Yeah, we're still.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
We can record without him. We don't need Nick.
a beer?
Yeah, just get unbranded whites or a shower beer, one of the two.
Yo, the Hialeah Light from Unbranded is delicious.
I think you just said something with me that resonates like so hard, is the abuse that you give yourself. And it's taxing.
Yep.
You know, like from several layers. And I think that since you just opened like 3 weeks in, it will, as the years go through and you will like grow, and you've already done some of the things, but as you continue to go through the things, like, no one is inside of your own head.
No.
Nobody. Even the people that are the closest to
Yeah.
you are not inside your own head.
Because they have a reality that they want to believe that it's your reality. They're trying to get inside of your head to make sure that you're happy, to make sure that they're doing things right for you, to make sure that you're happy with them, you know?
But I even think more so, when you experience success, or what the world views as success,
Yeah.
they feel like you are probably okay.
Are you ever okay?
I mean, I know for me personally, I'm never okay.
That's the thing.
You know why? Because I battle with myself on a daily basis of like, am I doing enough? Is this good enough? Am I performing for my people well enough?
That's the
am
big-
I
Yes.
am I performing for the people around me well enough? And the thing is, the most exhausting aspect of it all, dude, is that performance, right? And I just feel it like, and it's so like, it's deep within me, and it's something I've struggled with hard for like a year.
Me too.
Through the last year, you know, people are like, "Oh man, you guys did great, and you guys did this," and I was like, "I'm worn out." You know, and I know you are too. We've obviously talked about this a ton. Like, I'm worn out, and the thing is, there's no opportunity to take a breath.
No.
Because now, like, you spent the last 6 months building your restaurant,
Yeah.
and now you have to perform in that restaurant.
Yeah, fuck whatever happened before. Like
Nobody cares. It's what you've done
you
for
know,
me lately.
You know, like or whatever happened yesterday during service. It's like every day.
They didn't have what you wanted, but I know Pablo was drinking.
Whatever, that's cool.
You know, fuck whatever we did yesterday, or how good service was yesterday, or how pretty the food was, or how tasty the food. You know, the guys thought that it was. It's just like it's every day, and it's taxing because every day you're proving yourself. Cheers, brother. Every day you're proving yourself for your staff and for yourself. But to me, it's just like it's never enough for me. I always think that I gotta give more and I gotta do more, and I'm not doing enough. And you know,
I know we just cheers, but I'd like to cheers to you for finally. I mean, you're 3 weeks in.
Manny!
Oh man!
I need to score one of those hats though.
Oh man, those are tough.
You good?
Yeah.
Just like the
And
socks.
also-
Maybe
and
not
also-
so bad as the socks.
See, he gave it to me, and also it sucks. You know?
Yeah.
Fuck. This is
How's
awesome.
the restaurant?
I hope good.
I tried booking a reservation.
You just
I
gotta
have to wait,
tag. You just gotta
Nah,
text
man,
me,
I'm
bro.
not gonna do that, man.
Come on, man. Michael does that.
Nah,
I don't do that. I actually
Never,
made a
never,
reservation
never.
through Red.
You know, it's been awesome that I think that every single person that I can recognize from Marriott, besides you and some other guys in the kitchen, has been to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like you're Brittany, you're
Yeah.
operations boss lady,
Director of bosses.
right? The boss of the bosses of the bosses. She's been there like 2 times, I think.
Great.
Yeah, but she has that money though.
You gotta check
She's
the
not okay.
expense reports at the end of the month.
Relax. I read those. I'd like to say, since Manny's here and I haven't had a chance to text him today,
Bro, it's like
we
11:37 p.m.
And I just woke up.
he just got here. Manny's working overnights right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Very sharp.
So we had a video shoot today. I don't know, like technically by
this
law
is
if I'm allowed to say that, but whatever. But
Oh,
I don't know. I get in trouble all the time. But
yeah, but I don't want
fuck you. Manny single-handedly made sure that thing was perfect, and it was fucking perfect, bro.
That's fine.
It was like
Yeah.
we crushed that video shoot. I could never have imagined doing that on my own. You know, Manny spearheading it, Ashley supporting it, just like it was perfect. And the dish that we did for this video shoot today, which was probably the biggest video shoot we've done to date, was the best rendition of that dish we've ever done.
I'd agree.
By far.
It was
The,
really good.
the pork was perfect. The accoutrements were perfect. The dish was perfect. The conversation was perfect. It was like, the restaurant was the most beautiful she's ever looked. Just like, it was impeccable. I loved it.
That's like version what, number 3?
7.
7?
Yeah, I've been doing versions of that since before you got here.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe version number 3 for you, but version number 7 for me.
Yeah, we did it for one of the tastings. And it was
We did it for
great.
the tasting before you worked here that you were part of.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
third rendition of it.
Okay.
Dude, I'm so happy that you're here.
Me too.
Like,
It's like,
He doesn't just work here; he spearheads here.
oh yeah, but what I'm saying is that this is the place for him. And
I hope.
you're the person for the space. You
that's
know,
why I'm here.
because that's the thing. Is not only like the space needs to be the right space for the right people, and the people need to be the right people for the space.
You know, like I
Yeah.
often talk about the Cypress Room a lot, and I think that when
I never
worked-
went there.
it was great.
I love it.
When I worked at Cypress, it was the restaurant I needed at that time, and it really it changed me from being like a good thoughtful cook to a great cook and thoughtful cook.
Yeah.
And then area changed me to who I was. And that was like, you know, like restaurants give you, I think when you're really a chef and you like what you care
Mhm.
about is food and like the whole thing in the process, like restaurants give you what you need at a time that you need to grow. If you're in the right spot at the right time, you know, and it's like,
But the thing is
Cyprus was pivotal to me. As much as I hated so many parts of that thing, and like I struggled so hard, and it was like it was mentally exhausting, physically exhausting, emotionally exhausting. Like it was what I needed to make me a better cook, and I'm super grateful for that.
the cool thing is that you see a lot of restaurants. They're stuck in time, right? And they're the same version of the restaurant when they opened, which, there's a lot of good restaurants like that, but it's like when the restaurant grows with you,
Yeah.
when the restaurant becomes better as you become better, it's fucking awesome.
That's when you win a Michelin star.
Oh,
They're coming, bro.
well, hope you guys get them.
I hope
You guys are going to, huh?
That is the
fucking
goal. You know, like I've always been very weary of like setting goals, right? Like, because I'm not a me goal person. You know, like I just relax. Can I finish? Let me finish. I'm not like a me goal person. Like I don't really care about the me thing. But the reason why the Michelin star matters so much for me specifically is because that shit doesn't travel with somebody.
Yeah.
That is a restaurant-specific thing. And, like, Ariette, this team, the food we do, the service that we provide, deserves that. It's not a me thing. If I were to dissipate into unreality and open a restaurant in Alaska, the Michelin star isn't coming with me. No,
And the collective efforts from everybody.
Ariette is us.
Yes,
And that's the reality of it. And that's what Ariette really stands for.
But there's a head, and there's
that's true.
there's a without you facilitating things for them, and without you trusting them, and without your guidance and everybody else's guidance around the building, Ariette couldn't be where it is. Like Ariette is where it is right now because of all the hardships that you went through in order for Manny to have the resources that he's got and do the things that he needs to do to hopefully, and knocking on wood, soon enough, getting a star in the city, right?
And that may be true, but at the end of the day, that star resides with everybody.
And it's going to be for everybody.
From the dishwasher to the CDC to the chef owner to whatever. It resides with everyone. Everyone carries that star with them. And that's the reality of it. Like, and that's why I'm not like, like we hung the Beard Award thing up only for this like photo shoot thing. I was very like weary of it. It's been sitting in my office inside the folder it came in for the last 6 months. And that's actually accurate. Anyone can attest to that. But the star is something that lives within everybody.
Yeah, but like I've been thinking about that a lot, not because I think that what I'm doing right now deserves any type of that recognition, but more thinking about you guys and thinking about of all the people that actually have paved the way for us to do what we do. And it's like we see all these fucking guys coming from New York City and doing this and doing that. It will be really fucking upsetting if one of those motherfuckers gets a star before.
They're gonna get Pablo. They're gonna get stars
before. And just for the record, I'm not talking about what I want, right? Because I am far from that, right? And my restaurant.
But you're not far from that.
And my restaurant's far from that. I mean,
you're not far from that,
right? Thank you. But it's like there's just a few guys and girls in the city that actually deserve that, and it would be really upsetting if that happens and you guys don't get it.
Why not pave the way instead of having the way paved for me? And that's like, and what I mean by like you're not far. I've eaten at plenty of 1-star Michelin, 2-star Michelin things. Like I ate at your restaurant day one, and I've had worse meals at 1-star Michelin restaurants.
Fuck. I just get goosebumps.
And that's the truth. And like for me specific here, we attest within a standard. Like we go within a standard, and our standard is this.
Yeah.
If it never happens, if they never come, right? And listen, I'm out here saying you should come here because it's time to come here.
I think I heard something on one of your podcasts.
God
driving to Jethro and driving to fucking GFS in the morning, and you know, I don't know if it was you or somebody else. It doesn't matter. Let's make it about you. But it's like, you know, I had a conversation with the staff the other day based on something that I heard, and it was like, "What's your dream?" And everyone was just talking about their dreams, right? And then the conversation ended with me, and I was like, "These are the dreams that I have, and this is what I'm doing, what I do." And you know, I want a beer nomination, and I want recognition, not because of the place that we're in right now, but because of the culture that we're creating, because of the change that, you know, I have seen in the city for the past, I would say, 6 years, 7 years. And not because we're sitting on this table and not because we're doing that, but this guy is one of the fucking guys that is, you know, making that change. And it's just awesome to see that, you know, the Bruce Springsteen of fucking Miami dining.
Norman.
Right?
I won't lie, I like that quote because I love Bruce Springsteen.
So
I
it's
was
just
very
like,
proud.
In
you know,
the dark.
Yeah.
you know, my restaurant, I want my restaurant to be the Ramones or the
Oh,
Sex
that's good.
Pistols
What
or
about the
the
Sonics?
fucking Rancid or the Sonics or whatever.
Sonics.
It's just like, but staying true to yourself and doing the things that you want to do is because we have more to give. We are more than the Mortons and the Houstons and all that bullshit and the hotel restaurants. There's a lot of good hotel restaurants, but the small guys just like doing things the way that you guys are doing them, and it's just like, it's inspiring, to be honest with you. You know, you and me, we were at some point in our life, we were going to be working together, and I'm really glad that didn't happen, because at the end of the day, you know, for what I've like the timeline of the things that I have seen, this restaurant specifically has become better because of you and because of Mike's guidance, and that right there is making the restaurant scene in Miami stronger. And I see you guys pushing the envelope, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta push the envelope, and I gotta be better, because, you know, these guys are paving the way, and these guys are giving us the example. So, you know, without jerking anybody's chain, it's like you, in a way, you guys are just like setting the standard for everybody else in the city, and everyone is fucking noticing that, and everyone wants to like, yo, Ariad is doing this, and Ariad is doing that. We need to make sure that we're at that level. Within our own personality, right? Within our own restraints of the restaurant. But it's just like, bro, that's why, for me, hanging a Miami against the wall hat and the bar of my restaurant.
So many people send me a photo of that, and I love that.
Was the first thing that I wanted to do, because that's like a fuck you statement to like, hey, here we are, and this is what we can bring to the table. And it's not New York City's table, it's not Chicago's table, it's not like any other San Francisco's table, it's Miami's table.
Right.
You know? Whatever. Too many Negronis already, but, you know.
We're just getting warmed up.
It's like, you know.
No,
like,
we didn't just start. But I thank you. That means a lot to me. Like, you saying those things means more to me than a lot of people saying those things. And Manny specifically, because we talk a lot. 3 a.m, I'll send him ideas for food.
Heard that.
Which always start with "hear me out." It's always like,
yo,
my
I'm
standard.
not crazy, but
hear me out. This is an idea, and I think it's good. You know, we wanted to, and we do, and we will continue to not abide by like what the standard is, and we want to change the standard.
Yeah.
Right? But a lot of that is because of the growth of the city as a whole, and what the city is willing to do. And the more we grow, like you and what other people are doing, it gives us the opportunity to continue to push the diner more.
that's the thing.
And it's like, if we continue to push the diner more, and you continue to push the diner more, and other people to continue to push the diner more, then we are now the food destination of the country. And we have the opportunity to do that now.
Right now
is like
we are
very pivotal time
we
to
are
do
the dining
that.
destination of the nation, because
And it's
of
only like that-
circumstances, right?
Right, because
so we gotta take that
circumstances.
circumstance, and
That's
we gotta
right.
say like, yo, like this is our time. This is the chance that we've been waiting for, to actually people notice what we're doing and what.
I have a friend.
You know?
I have a friend. He has 3 Michelin stars. He is incredibly talented. Such an amazing dude.
Mm-hmm.
His restaurants and his food are amazing. And we had like an hour and a half long conversation a couple weeks ago. And he was just like, this is your time.
Yep.
They are looking for you guys to essentially push yourselves further. And I tell them this all the time. If they never come, they never come. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, but what works in New York City is not going to work here, though.
No, but it doesn't matter. But that's fine. He doesn't have stars in Michigan.
No. But what I'm saying is that bring it on because Miami, Miami's coming.
What I'm saying is like these outsiders can come in here or whatever, but we understand the community more than other people do.
Yeah.
And that's why I remember they didn't write it in the article, which I was sad about, but I was interviewed by the South Florida Business Journal. That's a thing? Is that a thing? Yeah.
You were in it.
I don't remember, but it was a couple months ago, and they were like, how do you feel about these New York restaurants coming in saying that they're going to stomp out the competition? And I said, come see me whenever you want in the middle of the street, and we'll see who stomps out who first.
Yeah.
And that's only because I understand this community because I grew up here. I know this city very well, much more than many. And like, I think the distance we can take this. I really do. And I believe in the city. They don't believe in the city. They believe in the dollars that are here. They don't believe in the shit. Like, I was at a restaurant the other day. That's another New York whatever thing. And I looked around the room and I was like, these people that are here, they're not my people.
They do not represent you.
They're not my people.
So we shouldn't be worried about that at the end of the
I'm
day.
not worried about them. I'm just saying, like, it's just one of those things that we understand the community more. Manny lives in Homestead. I live here in the Grove. I grew up in Little Havana. You've been here for how long?
16 years.
It's a lot longer than 6 months.
Half of my life.
It's just one of those things that I'm saying, like, we have an opportunity right now to, like, be who you are. Be who we are, right? And not give a fuck. Like, I don't care. If people aren't going to eat a frog leg croqueta, I don't care. I'm still going to put it on the fucking menu.
You have a frog leg croqueta for sure?
We're working on it, yeah. It's a thing in process. It's pretty good, right? The first trial was pretty good. You have
fucking
dope,
dope,
by the way. Yeah. It's just like things like that.
Yeah.
Pushing the envelope.
And changing the neighborhoods at the end of the day. Like, again, not to make this the center of the conversation, but it's like maybe if restaurants like Ariete or Nave or even Trucks wouldn't be in this neighborhood, maybe this neighborhood wouldn't be the neighborhood that it's becoming now.
Distance the conversation from ourselves. And obviously Manny has feelings about this, and I have feelings about this.
I am not distancing the conversation because I see it.
No, but I'm saying, if Michael's Genuine never exists, is the design district what it is today?
Fuck no.
Abso-fucking-lutely not.
No, and Senora Martinez would have never happened if it wasn't for Michael's
Manny
Genuine.
sweat his ass off 80 hours a week in Michael's Genuine for fucking how long? 3 years?
It's 2 years.
2 years?
I was a shitty line cook at Senora Martinez
Last year doesn't
once.
count. Stop it. 8 months of that year didn't count.
That place is special.
Michael's?
It was.
It was.
I mean, it just forged so many good fucking cooks in the city.
I think that time frame too. Like I think about that time when you worked at Michael's and I worked at Cypress, and Harry's was like doing the pop-ups every month with Waxman and the fucking these jerk-offs from fucking Toro that are fucking jerks. They're jerks. I mean, Ken Oranger and fucking whatever the fuck that other guy's name are.
Jamie
fucking jerks.
Bisonet.
That guy. They're fucking jerks.
Yeah.
Doing pop-ups with guys like that, and like that whole thing, like that time frame was so special.
It was.
It was like I felt like I was a part of something bigger than
Yeah,
myself.
I remember when I was a line cook at Señora Martinez, and after we were just like going out and drinking and doing all the things. All the guys from Michael's were going to the bar, and they had the Michael's fucking chef coats, and you were looking up to them. You're like, oh, these guys are from Michael's, you know, like that's the best fucking restaurant in the city right now.
So simple. Though. Like, the food there was so simple. So
But that's the thing. Like, if you look at it now,
I haven't been there in years.
no,
Last time I went,
I'm not talking about Michael's now, but I'm talking about the impact that Michael
sure.
had, and Michael's had, and still has with the food in the city. Is that everyone now is understanding that simple is better,
Yeah.
and you know, my food is completely different to the food that you guys do, because at the end of the day, you guys are a fine dining restaurant, but you guys, your food is simple. It's just really fucking well executed, and there's a lot of technique behind it.
Yeah, it's more technique. But you look at it on a plate and it's just like it looks like a sauce, but you don't know the steps that go behind.
And it's
to the
ingredient
actual plate.
focused, right? And that's what back in the day, that's what Michael's Genuine was doing.
Yes.
It's like highlighting the fruit, the vegetable,
Yeah.
the protein. That's it, you know. And there's a time and place for that. And I think that now, in Miami, people are realizing that that's what needs to happen again.
All right. I think we've like gone through a roller coaster of things and emotions and stuff.
Yeah, it's been intense for sure.
You feel like it's been intense? I don't feel like it's been intense. I feel actually like I feel great right now.
You know, I thought I was gonna bring notes today, just
Why
to
would
fuck with you,
Don't
just to
ever
fuck
bring
with you.
notes, please don't ever bring notes. I will feel so pressured, and I will give up early. If you bring notes to this podcast.
You know, it's been great, man, for sure. For sure, man.
We're gonna close this out with all the regular things that we close out with. I've said it several times. I will say it again. I'm so happy as your friend and proud of the things that I've seen in the last 3 weeks. I'm almost ashamed that I've only been once to eat, and I've wanted to go pretty much every day that
Don't
I have
worry
an
about it.
opportunity. But
As long as you crave it, that's good for me.
I mean, that cabbage is delicious. The steak tartare was amazing. You've probably changed it since then. No? But it's still...
Those are the only two dishes that haven't changed.
That's great.
Yeah.
The pork dish was delicious. I mean, the food was great. The
Thanks,
service
man.
was great. Which to me, I knew the food would be great. The service was the concern for me.
Yeah.
Because in previous,
Yeah.
the service was good, but not as good as it was when I was there.
But it's because from the get-go, I wanted to make sure that everyone was comfortable and everyone was being themselves. You know? Like, I could have given everybody a playbook of how I think that things are going to be. But what I chose, and I told the guys, I don't know if you're going to hate me because I'm going to say this, but I wanted to have the anti-restaurant. I wanted to have a place where, within, of course, you know, certain rules and certain, like, structure, but just be comfortable, man. You know? Just be who you are. You know? Get people excited about the things that you like. I want to give our employees and our team members a place that they want to go to eat, and they want to have fun, and they want to, you know, talk about. So when they're talking to a guest and they're like engaging with guests, it's a natural thing. It's not forced.
Yeah.
I don't want you to talk about the things that I want you to talk about. I want you to talk about the things that excite you about the place the place that you're working at.
That scares me incredibly,
you know.
but I get it.
You know, so far I think that 3 weeks in, you know, it seems to be what works for us. You know, yeah.
I enjoyed the room more than your previous place.
Yeah, for sure.
I just enjoyed myself more.
Yeah, man, because the thing is that every inch of that restaurant has blood, sweat, and tears from me and my wife. You know,
I feel that.
every wall of that restaurant, every inch of that restaurant, every inch of each table, every chair, the bar, the dining room, the walls, everything. It's just like, yep.
It has such a different connect when it's like that. You know, like doing this like video thing today or the show thing today. I was asked like why choose this restaurant specific? I'm like, there are more parts of me within these walls than I think
anything else
in my career I will ever find again.
Yeah.
And it's like your first one that's like really yours, like you see, and as years go on and things will change and you'll probably change furniture and you'll probably change tables and you'll probably change things. It's like you'll know that one chair, like you did that chair. You know that one wall that has like FRP, like you put up that FRP.
Yeah.
You know that one like tile, like you made them redo it again. Like so no one else knows.
There's this guy Joffrey from Miami Food Bug.
Of course,
I love him.
One of the only good influencers on the planet.
The only good influencer in the planet.
Oh, there's other.
No, I know,
there's
I know.
a couple others. There's a couple others.
So he used to go, like, he used to text me, like, at fucking 10:30, 11 p.m. He was like, yo, are you in the restaurant? He saw the whole process. And I remember him just, like, walking into a restaurant, and I was outside on the patio just, like, painting chairs. And in a way, I don't know why, but I was just like, I don't want him to see this because I want him to see the restaurant completed. But he actually took the time to see the whole fucking process.
Right.
And to see me painting walls, painting chairs, building wood, building the bar. And it was just like amazing. So seeing a guy like that just like sitting down in the bar of the restaurant when the restaurant's completed and enjoying a meal, it was just like super fucking rewarding.
Miami Food Pugs are one of the good ones.
Yep.
They are one of the good ones.
Oh, yeah.
They don't just ask for money for photos and shitty posts. They are definitely one of the good ones.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. And I think even above that, they're just great humans.
Yeah, both of them are great.
I think we've exhausted all of our like emotional, very like visceral, like human thoughts here. Talking to your ball tickler, sir.
And now is where we get into our wind down. Welcome to our parting recommendations.
All the things.
That's right. Well, no, that's shameless plugs.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
So it's plugs and then the thing?
First recommendations, then we'll go back around.
Okay.
Shameless plugs. For
Right.
recommendations, you can recommend things as long as they're not yours. Could be a
Right.
movie, could be a book, could be a dish. Just can't be yours because you get to plug all your stuff later.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
No, I'll let him start.
No, you're the guest.
Okay.
Or do you need some time to think about it?
Yes.
No.
No, I'm sure Nick has just been stockpiling.
So
I just have one thing.
Oh, shocker.
Recommendations. I started for I go home like at 2 a.m. in the morning and I cannot go to sleep until maybe 4. So I started watching Lost.
Oh,
So far,
the show Lost?
Yeah, so far.
man, I love that show. It's
Everyone-
so fucked up.
Fuck. Everyone tells me that like the first 2 seasons are great. So far, I'm on half of the first season and I'm just like hooked.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. Number 2, it will be Madruga Bakery in the Gables. I like their coffee a lot. Counterculture coffee is great.
Also served at Chug's Diner.
There you go. Okay. And number 3, I want to give a shout out again to Alejandro from Vinos del Rey.
Man,
If you're looking
hard
to
shout out.
really
Shout
good
outs.
natural wine that is not crazy and unaffordable and just like extremely funky, that's the guy right there.
You know I'm not a wine guy. I drink cocktails and beer. Right?
Yeah.
So, Brittany, when we went
Unbranded Brewing, Hialeah Light, the best fucking the best fucking beer in Miami right now.
coming soon is a Chug's beer for the opening of jugs.
From Branded?
I think so.
You're always looking at Nick like, am I saying this right?
Nick knows things. Nick knows things.
All right, so that's it. Those are my recommendations. Lost, Madruga Bakery, and
I love that you're watching
Venus
Lost.
of Rey.
I love, like, the years that I lost to Lost. It's amazing. Like, I watched that show hard for like 3 years.
Because the thing is that one of my dreams is to be stranded on a fucking island.
Yeah. I often wonder if, about things like that.
Anyhow,
If I was away from a restaurant, like if I was stranded on an island, what would I do?
I'll kill it on an island.
You. I love that. I would kill it on an island, stranded by myself, and see what would happen. I would crush it. I love that. That's good. Pablo Zitzmann, everyone.
Recommendations.
Whew. I am incredibly enamored by what's happening in Coral Gables dining. To see Zitz Sum open and Luca open, which I think is the best rendition of Giorgio's food.
Those mushrooms are the shit.
I would actually say like that was my least favorite dish.
Really?
Yeah, I've loved. I liked everything.
Yeah.
But I loved so many other things, just like simple shit like the
I'm doing a
mortadella
fried
toast.
rice. I'm doing a crunchy rice right now because we don't have a wok, and I'm doing like a whatever rice that we can do at the restaurant, and that dish is inspired by the mushrooms at Luca Osteria.
Love that.
Yep.
I think Giorgio and Diego, which is his CDC, I'm pretty sure, are doing like really great work there. And I think that the Gables is like pining for stuff like what you're doing and like what Giorgio is doing, and it's great to see.
Mm-hmm.
I love to see it, and I would recommend Luca very much. Obviously, I would recommend Zitz Sum also, but the Gables has been this desolate wasteland of food that's just like inundated with chain restaurants forever, and soon the Grove will be very similar by chain restaurants as well. So I think it's incredibly important to see small one-stop restaurants like Zitz Sum and Luca doing very well. I love to see it. That's my... Oh, and then movie. I watched... Listen, it's hard not to like a movie that Denzel is in.
Yep.
Like Denzel Washington, I feel like the way that he acts...
But he just plays the same fucking role every
Relax,
time.
take it easy. He's just a personality, and I love that about Denzel Washington, that he moves his personality to another movie. Like, and I love that. So I watched that movie with him and Ryan Reynolds yesterday called Safe House. And it's like just a lot of shit is blowing up. There's lots of guns. Things are happening.
He reminds me of like Samuel L. Jackson.
Listen, Samuel L. started
Motherfucker.
started acting very late. So I think that maybe Denzel started acting earlier. But I get your point. I'm just saying that Safe House, a good, entertaining watch. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I also would recommend
Training Day.
But, like, Safe House, there's a lot of Training Day in Safe House.
Okay, I haven't watched it, so...
And, but I would also, this is, on Instagram, which I hate Instagram, but follow Drew T.
Don't.
What is that maniacal laugh from the Belen class of 96 over there in the corner?
I just like that, you beat me to it.
Shut your fucking mouth. It's not true. But
Later on, when you come up with some angry thing to say about it, you can post a really tiny thing.
I know when shit
About me and
is
Pablo.
hitting the fan in the Miami dining scene when I see Michael just ranting about shit.
oh man,
No, I know when it's like a half a sentence and it's like an eye
'Cause I don't
exam.
have
It's
an
like,
Instagram,
it's like
so-
bottom of the eye exam tiny on your screen.
Yeah.
I will finish my parting recommendations when they allow me to. Am I allowed to finish here?
Go, chef. Sorry.
Okay. So, on Instagram, Drew T. Albert. He's an actor, writer, and husband, apparently, father, teacher, and at the Groundlings. I don't know what this means. But basically, he reenacts a bunch of restaurant scenes through different characters, and it is absolutely hysterical.
Have you seen the Mother's Day episode?
I was just about to say, the Mother's Day one to me, like, I felt so hard because I saw my staff, like, after service, just, like, pounding shots of mezcal and just, like, applauding each other. And I was like, I totally understand. And then he posted this, and I was like, I get it.
Sorry.
He's watching Drew and Albert. Those are my party recommendations. I actually felt fairly prepared for that.
Cool.
Which is a shocker for me.
And I'm just going to recommend the 2019 murder mystery movie Knives Out, which I saw for the first time.
Oh, I saw that. That was
days
good.
ago. Daniel Craig, Jamie Lee Curtis, what's Captain America? Chris Evans.
Yeah.
A bunch of people. And related recommendation, after you've seen the movie, go on YouTube and watch the Vanity Fair video of the director of the movie breaking down a scene from the movie. Super interesting stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And now, for our shameless plugs. Pablo?
Oh, but did Pablo recommend things? Did you recommend
Yeah, I
things?
did. Lost,
Oh,
Madruga
Lost.
Bakery,
All right. That's
Contra Culture Coffee,
I'll
and
take it, I'll
something
take it.
else that I forgot about.
I'll take it. It's fine.
Shameless plugs.
Go to Zitz Sum. We're open from Tuesday till Saturday from happy hour now from 6 till 7. And then we're open for dinner from 6 to 10, 11-ish, whatever.
Where do people find you online?
At Zitz Sum, I guess.
How do you spell it? I mean,
Zitzsum. And then my wife's bakery company, Nikem Confections. She does badass custom cakes, and she's a really awesome pastry chef. And you can find her goodies in the morning at Zitz Sum. And I'll
From what times? What time?
9 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. at Zitz Sum. We're doing breakfast over there. And I discovered lately that I'm really good at design. So I opened up a design company called Ronin Designs. With Ronin means just like,
Ronin. I know.
A guy doing
Keanu
everything.
Reeves.
Right? There
Ronin
you go, the
47.
Ronin, right? Ronin Designs. So I started doing logos for restaurants and T-shirts, and I started doing my own shit.
When am I getting my shirts?
My own design.
Do you
Hopefully
have those?
soon, because the thing is that everything's fucked up in Colombia. I'm doing everything in Colombia.
Everything's fucked up everywhere.
Right? So my shirts are coming in soon, hopefully.
Pre-ordered.
So yeah. So those are my shameless plugs, I guess.
Go on with your ball tickler, sir, and shameless plug all your things.
You shameless plug your thing.
Honestly, the only thing I will shamelessly plug is that soon, I think within the next 20 days, we will be dropping the Pig Ink Apparel website,
Okay.
where you can find all of Nick Jiménez's beautiful photos that we took sweaty on a Thursday morning in Little Havana, walking back and forth. Me as the model, so imagine how shitty that was.
I was going to say, the beginning of that explanation makes it sound like it's just pictures of you and me sweaty walking together.
Yeah. I mean, no, the pictures were great. You did a great job.
I did okay.
2 boys in a shirt.
Yeah, that's awkward. There's not a shirt big enough for both Nick and I, that's for sure. And
2 boys in a mug.
that's all, man.
Drinking coffee out of our Panko podcast.
Things are getting weird. And I think that's the only thing I would recommend. Obviously, please join us at Nave for brunch, now open on Sundays. Ariat is open all the time for all of your needs at all the times. We serve a tasting menu 7 days a week at nighttime. And that's all my, shameless plug things. Pay attention. Chug's Diner is opening sometime in this millennia, and I can't wait for that to happen, because I don't want to deal with any construction people ever again, because it's 17 monkeys fucking a football, and I can't wait to be done with it.
I miss that sazon completa, bro.
It's coming back!
Oh my god.
Whoop, whoop, beep!
Finally, all of our shameless plugs before we move on to, I don't know if you have lightning round things, but shameless plugs for Dade and Pancon Podcast. You can find Pancon Podcast at dademag.com/Pancon Podcast. We're Pancon Podcast on all the social media things, and if you want to support what we are doing, you can either advertise with us, that's ads at dademag.com, or you can contribute yourself individually for as little as $1 a month. It's patreon.com.
Give us all of your money.
/DadeMag. Patreon.com/DadeMag. We just added a brand new tier. So on Patreon.com/DadeMag, there is a new tier where the perk is you get a monthly shipment of Abuela Mami whole bean coffee
Whoop whoop.
to your door.
Kiki.
Shout out to Kiki Valdez for helping us make that happen. But yeah, monthly coffee tier. That there are 25 spots available there. I think one of them is taken. We have a coffee person.
We have a coffee person?
We have a coffee person.
Vite.
Vite.
Poof.
So yeah, get in there, get your coffee, help support what we're doing around here, and that's it. Now, if you stick around, thank you, Pablo.
Thank you, guys.
And if you are here after that sound effect, you will hear the lightning round if you're a Patreon person. So get on there, get your coffee, get your exclusive shit.
Thank you.